Whew. Okay. Seems like everything's all right. Seems like I got it set up right. Ah, brother. Okay, so today's supposed to be a test stream. We're supposed to just make sure everything's working correctly and, you know, all that fun stuff. I'm gonna stay in this form because the game's screen is large enough that I kind of needed to move it. It's large enough that I have to keep my guy out of the way. Usually I have enough room to kind of wiggle around. I might need to, I feel like this stream setup I might need to change a little bit. I don't know. I have a couple different overlays and some of them just don't work the same as the others. But usually if you have a 16:9 aspect ratio for a game, that helps it some, you know? Did I just hear the loop end on the... Oh, I did. I didn't even know. I don't remember how long the loop is on the music with this one. I think, what was it? I think Red Genie's is like 4.5 minutes, I think. The thing is like I am very much an advocate for the stuff I talk about, that I want the main menu to be something you can stay in. Hey, Edger, how's it going? But yeah, I did actually, it took me a while to get like the menu music right with this one. I love the alien noises. I don't know, I'm a fan of the alien noises, you know? I think I'll just start. I wanted to start today's stream and also the future VOD with a mild disclosure of, hey, this is a horror game, you know? Not... I think this one's closer to a gateway horror game than other horror games I've seen. I included some provisions in the game so more people could play it. One of the first and foremost ones, actually, that I did to make sure people could play this game if they're less inclined for horror, is the intro to the game basically lets you kind of dictate, okay, am I going to be... Am I kind of a wuss, or do I want to, you know, put the volume up there? Hesitant to scare the boy, don't want him to get scared. Well, they had to watch me make the thing, so they had some time. Thankfully, they've had time to observe what I've done. So I wouldn't be worried about them. I would say that of all things, the only thing that they probably don't like is... I would say the only thing that the boy probably is not a fan of is the fact that he knows what I'd put into this game. Like, in terms of, like... I would say the general vibes, you know? I need to move him over a little bit because he's, like, right over the game screen. Boy can move a little bit. But I kind of wanted to sit at the menu for a moment just to talk, because I'm like... I do kind of want to be candid a little bit that... I feel like this game... I think I was working through some stuff, and I don't know if that affected the game or not, in ways that I don't think I'm fully aware of, if that makes sense. I'll check something really quick. I just want to check one thing really quick, because I was thinking about it before stream started, and as sad as it might make me, I would rather engage with it properly, you know? It was... I wanted to check sales reports, because as much as I don't like looking at those numbers... So that's about right. That's what I figured, but yeah, it's like, I think one thing with this game that I kind of grapple with is the fact that I was going through a lot of stuff making it, and I think by the end of it, I think it worked out, but because I think it's a pretty solid RPG Maker horror game, but I think I mentally went through a bit too much. Which is funny, because I think the greatest thing I can put towards it is that I didn't injure myself mentally doing this. It just... Because I think when you make something from the heart, there's always the possibility, and this I think happens in horror, and by extension, you know, like more emotional media, is that I think there's this expectation or understanding that you might end up inadvertently digging too deep, either, you know, in yourself or into the people you work with. I would say that I remember there's a, what was it? It was an interview with the actress, the Japanese actress of I think her name is Hinako in Silent Hill F, that she had to get therapy after she was done, and it's like, I know some people memed on that. Sorry, my glasses are dirty. some people memed on that, like, why would you need therapy for voice acting? And it's like, well, if you ripped into the most primal of base instincts in your body, you know, you got to the core of your emotional being and was able to pull it out and, like, you know, kind of vomit it up. I don't know how many people would be able to handle that, the ramifications of doing so. Like, imagine if like, because there's a bunch of stuff I think human beings in general have tucked away. Funny enough, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories talked about something like this, where it's the idea of the true memories, where it's like the idea of, like, if you remembered everything with absolute perfect clarity. Hey, remember me? Probably. Hey, Galaxy. Actually, I do remember you. I may not remember the exact details of when we met, but I do remember you. I remember meeting Galaxy. I do remember this name. I do remember. But yeah, I just where was I? Little Big Planet. Yes. Yes, no, yep. I remember exactly. Yep, I remember now. I remember. How's it been? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, this game, I think it's kind of funny. I didn't come up with any other imagery for the game. I have this I have the screenshots I used in the store pages, and I have this image of the dice. I do have a fun fact about the image of the dice that I used for this. Those are 2 red dice that I just own that are, like, translucent. You can kind of see, I think it's funny, you can actually see it doing fantastic. Hey, that's good. You can actually see it, you can actually see in the dice, you can kind of see this, you can actually see this kind of in the one on the right side. You can see the visage of the 5 side, because the dice are the same, are the exact same in terms of the where the sides are. That's how 6-sided dice are. But you can actually see through it, and you can kind of see the wood of the table. Photography is fantastic. I was really proud of getting this to look the way it did. You know what it kind of felt like to me? It felt like one of those, like I would like say PS, like late PS1 era type of menu look. You know, like the kind of feels like the grunge filter, you know? And I was pretty, it took me a few shots to get it right. And I did decide, funny thing, I decided on 7 as the result that would be, like, kind of highlighted, along with Snake Eyes on the sides, which was a purposeful touch, actually, because I wanted the worst result to be in plain view, but then I also wanted the most common result to be the thing that you land on. Because 7, fun fact, it's one of those things that, like, rolling 2 6-sided die, the most common sum is 7, because 3 and 4 are really easy to get. You know, it's really easy to get those numbers, and you're more than likely to get a combination of 3 and 4 between the 2 dice more often. And also 5 and 2 makes 7, so it's very easy. So cooking meaning is very cool. Yeah, I'm proud of this one. I do hope that, all right, let's get to the, I do have content not suitable for young audiences. Some others may find situations there disturbing. Game also contains flashing lights that may be of concern for some players. I could not remove flashing lights from the game. I don't think I could. Without, like, kind of, like, stripping out certain parts of the game, I don't think I could. I think also I made the game screen a little too big. I did. Hang on. Smaller. So everything, yeah, there we go. That's what I was seeing. It's a Fox Monday. Yes, it is. Which is very bizarre for me, personally. It does feel very odd to me. Also, fun fact, I'm playing this on my controller. Steam officially says the controllers don't work with this game. They do. Don't believe Steam. At least in this regard. I've been able to configure my gamepad, and I think the main thing is with gamepad or keyboard configuration is that as long as your inputs can reach either one of those things, RPG Maker can recognize it, which is a big W for accessibility. Should anything provoke genuine thought and fear within you, that will be most excellent, but please do not bring undue harm to yourself. Please apply discretion before playing this game. Sent a puzzle, one you solved with relative ease. Puzzle blocks clicked in word with strange unseen mechanisms when it opened. Within the puzzle blocks were some papers, an empty envelope, a brochure about a most unforgettable experience, and a DVD with the words Madman's Dice penned neatly on its surface. Curious about where you placed it. You played it in an old DVD player. Also, this sound design, it took me I think like 4 or 5 different attempts using different filters. Wait, did you make this? I'm so sorry. Yes, this is my game. This is my second born game, And I would say, I imagine in 10 years in time, when I have like 2 or 3 more games under my belt, this one will still probably be the one that I am the most wary of talking about more deeply in terms of how I came up with some things. But yes, this is my game. I made this one myself. This one came out last year on Halloween. I am so happy I got the anniversary for it on Halloween, though. I was worried that I wouldn't make the release day on time, and the whole month of October last year, I was basically in a I was a stress ball for all of October. I was working overtime to get it done. I was very worried about it, and it came out. I do think there are parts of it that I worry are kind of the one thing I haven't done since I played. So here's the thing: before release time, I played through the game in its entirety to make sure that you could get the true ending. I did that once. I did it one time, played through the whole game, beginning to end. I have not done that since then. Where you constantly squeeze the stress ball thing. I mean, I felt like I was. It was very much a mental squeeze. Yeah, that took me an ungodly amount of time to get right. Let's just do a remote and begins to speak. Fun fact, this is 2 different sound bits pieced together. I had to time it exactly frame-wise to get the music track and the DVD track to line up perfectly. So basically, it plays a sound effect. That's the DVD thing being like closed, like, you know, it's the startup of it. And then it transitions into the music without the hiccup, and I had to do that multiple times to get it right. I had to see this cutscene so many times. Playing back the disc, you've already begun our game. The voice is deep, commanding, the kind an eerie mortician would have. So, 2 things. 1, I actually borrowed a lot of the... As an animator, I feel a timing struggle. It happens. But I'm also letting this rock, because I don't actually get to... Normally, when I'm playtesting this game, when I was playtesting this, I would zoom through this, and I wouldn't get to hear the whole track. But also, so I don't get to hear the whole track very often. I love the music I did for this. It kind of reminds me of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is on purpose. This synth sound, actually, I really love this synth sound, and I got it just right in an album of music I did before this game came out. And I really want to grab it again for another song, for another album, because I love this synth sound. It's so good. Really Delta and Undertale. Also, that's pretty good. There's a particular era of the 80s and 90s that this synth sound is very familiar to. Very, very cool. I need to move my mouse. Forgot capture mouse is on. But I actually borrowed a fair bit from the visual novel. From the visual novel language of having a lot of writing. And a lot of that's because I feel like I'm more powerful as a writer than anything else. So I actually spent a lot of time doing writing for this game. Experience is not for the faint of heart or the weak of wills. You will make choices, you will live with them. This is what it means to play Madman's dice. By opening the box, you've won the chance to play for a prize. Before you go to meet he whom you play with and against, there's business you must conclude here. Before you lies a survey, one that must be completed and sent back in order to prepare your experience. Some simple questions about who you are. Follow along with this disc and use your controls to answer here accordingly as well. Use the remote to bring up the questions as you follow along the paper survey. Yeah, this is like, I just also, off topic, but the fox in the left corner is cracking me up. Also, that was pretty cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's, I drew my boy. That's my boy right there. That's my boy. That's he, my boy. I drew him many years ago at this point, and by many years, I mean, like, I think like 3 or 4 at this point. All right, let's see. How would you wish to be identified? Fun fact about this, and I only say this because I don't know how many people will get to the end of the game. I remember when I did this, it was actually partially because I did the same thing in Red Genie. I had male and female, I didn't have other, but I did include other in this one because I thought it was an interesting, I thought it was also just easy to do. But yeah, you have male, female, and other, and I designed, I didn't spend so long thinking about the differences in the characters, but I usually would choose other because it was, I think it's the funniest character design. Because it's it's a slightly edited RPG Maker default, and I liked it because I liked the idea of, yes, the wizard of the diversity. Well, it's like, for me, it's like the 3 genders are male, female, and wizards, and that's like, because I have a friend who It's funny. It's like my brain defaults has like a default because as a person, I've been trying to figure out how to rectify, like, how do I handle gender stuff? And half the time it's like, well, it's like, okay, I want to make sure that I remember to call people properly by what they tell me. So most of the time it's like, okay, how do I handle this? And I usually come up with weird nicknames or weird names because then it reminds me it prompts my brain to say, this person has different pronouns, don't forget that. Which sounds like a weird thing, but it's actually a matter of like, for me, it's a respect thing of like, if somebody has pronouns and they want to be called by them, I have to prompt my brain to know that that's a thing, which is not a thing I often run into in my daily life. But it's something I've run into enough times, especially at college. I ran into it, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play as the male character because I haven't played as them in a long time. Let's see. Have you played this game before? Person's smile grows wide and bright enough to be seen through the darkness. They recognize you. Do you wish to skip the pregame survey? Question. Okay, chat. Real question. Do we want to skip the pregame survey? Do we want to just free ball with luck, or do we want to? Do we want to just go through it? Okay, don't give AF about the gender I call myself. You could call me attack counter. I'd be like, okay, nah, not gonna skip the pregame survey. We go, and we shall begin again. Yeah, we do it. So, fun fact, I actually included that so people could just, if they wanted to replay the game, they could just skip right to it. It was also for playtesting. It made it easier for me, personally, you know. Survey will check your experience with horror and your preferences in horror. This will affect the possibilities of your stories. To reiterate, please answer honestly. Do you like horror games and/or movies? Yes. Of course, you did this experience knowing it's such a game. How comfortable are you with gore and other graphic material? So, fun fact, also another thing I did for accessibility. I made it so that there's a gore off option. It doesn't turn absolutely everything off. There is one or two things that are left in, but like when I say left in, it's not like, it's actually very specific elements that are like, I think it's like two like things that I couldn't get rid of because they were like genuinely, it's like they're like little like red drops on the carpet or something somewhere. But I think 99% of it is like, it literally is like, oh, if it sees gore is turned off, it just gets rid of it entirely. It scrubs it. But there's also a couple of descriptions that are missing in the game that you will not get if the gore thing is turned off. Because it actually does check, like, hey, this is off. Don't describe this horrible thing. There's actually a moment in the second floor levels. I think it's the sewer level, basically. The sewer level has a moment that, I just like gore and stuff with anatomy practice. It's like, I remember one of the things I heard about Dead Space that really messes with me sometimes is that Dead Space artists had to look at car crash victims to get the necromorph look right. And that would be too much for me. You know, it's like, I think that'd be kind of gross. But I prefer practical effects in my horror movies, personally. What experience this type of story I see? Do you enjoy the occasional? Okay, I'm gonna ask right now. I have a question. If I press yes, how many people are about to drop something that they're not paying attention to stream, they looked away for a second and hear jump scare? Because this is gonna make a loud noise if I press yes. So I want to give fair warning to everybody in chat. If I press this button, it's gonna make a loud noise. So if you're ready, you're prepared, I'm gonna hit the button because I think it'll be funny. Because I'm gonna find out who's not listening when they go, what was that? And I'm gonna go like, no jump scares here. You can see the person's raised their hand, just cover their mouth before they speak. They're laughing. Be honest, did you jump? I did not. Either you're resilient or lying. Their smile remains, but it's not broken the slightest. Doesn't matter, we'll make note of this. Do you prefer slower dread or fast-paced terror? And this one, okay, so funny thing, the reason this survey works like this, so there is a hidden value that is tracked by the game. That's called, I called it jump scare value or JS value. I was paying full attention, I still jumped. It's okay, I understand. Don't worry, flashing things on screen is like, it's such a cheap jump scare, man. But that's the thing, it's like, it was like prompted. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, it's funny. But I'm gonna choose, you know, I'll choose, which one do I want to pick? I think I'll choose terror. Above the thrill of adrenaline running, that is respectable. Do you prefer daytime or nighttime? But this whole thing actually does build up a profile of numbers. And in my notebook, I believe, actually, hang on. Do I have the tree? I have the tree in my notebook. Where is it? I have like a whole tree written out of what the numbers end up being when you're done. Where is it? I did like all the math of it. I'm trying to remember where it is though. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, I have the numbers right here. So I have the notebook and all the weird papers with me. The number actually starts. So the number is actually a number between 1 and 89. It's like you can either be up to, down as far down as 1. Is it as far down as 1? I remember. Yeah, it's as far down as 1 and as far up as 89. And why did I get flashbacks to the one animal dub video at the mention of daytime and nighttime? I don't know which one you're talking about. But I'm going to choose nighttime. Dark of night is your home. Intriguing. This is the last question of the survey. Do you enjoy the influence of luck and random chance in your life? Yes. Lady Luck is a lovely but fickle force indeed. It is well you enjoy your presence. You will be a constant companion in your game. Thank you for answering as honestly as you can. There's one piece of business outstanding. Please enter your name. Oh yeah, there's your guy. there's our guy right there. That's our guy. I like our guy. He's pretty good. I'll name him. You know what's funny? I don't think naming him A actually matters because. Okay, fun fact. I do have a fun fact about this. I think there's only like 1 or 2 times your character's referred to by name. I'll just go with I'm not going Roy this time. Not this time. My name's Sid. There we go. After completing the survey, sent it out with the mail and awaited the answer. But yeah, that whole so basically the number starts at 44, and then every choice you make adds or subtracts different values based on the question. And by the end of it, you can end up at a maximum of 89, minimum of 1, and basically what it does is it influences how much you get jump scares and also certain levels of scares. There's actually one level in particular that if you have the jump scare value high enough. Oh, it's a video where a bunch of guys dub over animals. There was one bird that they dubbed over and he kept popping his head out of his wings. He said daytime, nighttime in a gooey voice. Oh, I love that. I love that. You see that sometime. But that value, there's actually a particular level where it actually dictates a particular thing happening in the level. And my god, it's one of those ones that emotionally is damaging, but a week later you see the directions went forth to play the game. You arrive at the manor in the back of a taxi. Step out of the worn seat and onto the faded cobblestones of the driveway. You recall how strange the invitation truly was at the time. The puzzle box comes within. Puzzle box sits beside you, resting atop your belongings. What matters more at the time is what was within it. Invitation to a game experience beyond immersive. A game that will bring you beyond any other. That and the strange pre-game survey had to mail back. The survey did directly state what the stakes are in winning in regards to your winnings. A prize of the player's choice, price up to $100,000. Or a wish come true. It sounds like a crazy idea to believe it. Did not state what, if anything, would be lost if you did not win the game, but the allure of an experience you won't soon forget was enough to take the trip. And if it turns out to be a bust, what do you have to lose? You checked the address listed before you left. It's a large house that sits right next to a city. Manor perched above the urban surroundings also feels like a nice vacation in any case. Your travel expenses were paid down to the last cent, and you stand in the place for real. Despite its relative close to the city, the house itself is more remote than any you've seen. Taxi hurries away, leaving you standing alone in the night with your swirling thoughts. However, you learn to this place of the game you're invited to play. It no longer matters as you look up at the looming house. A house standing alone against the night sky sends chills through your body. It is you and you alone with whatever comes next. The transition bit, I think. Yeah, there we go. Lights flicker behind the mosaic windows, hundreds of little eyes glaring down at you. The old wood seems to swallow the lights around it. Electric lamps lighting your way to the front door along a stony path. Iron fence that surrounds the yard in a low-cut cage wears a great deal of superficial rust along its thin bars. All of it appears exact, pristine. The rust on the fence seems to carry a uniform and repeating pattern. The air carries the sound of wind, yet no gusts seem to disturb the trees. In the distance, a man stands at the front door. He must be Ichabod. He was listed on the brochure as the game master. It's time for you to meet the supposed proprietor of the experience. Use the arrow keys to move yourself to the door. Use the Z key to interact with things in your environment. You might learn something. Use the X key to open the menu to observe found items and access settings. You can change these keys in the controls menu. Make sure you save regularly. There's no automatic saving. Now go on. You have better places to be than out here. Yep. I made the start button Y. Where was I here? Madman's Dice, PL, Castle Basement. I was, yeah. Funny enough, I think I've spent, yeah, so it took me so it took me 2 hours to get that far. Not a mountain, but this is peak. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like, I borrowed from the idea, to me, I borrowed the concepts I found in visual novels to do some of this game's work. Because I liked the idea of doing more written descriptions. Also, Cloudy, thank you for such an hydrate. Hope you're doing well today. But I borrowed from a lot of that because I think partially it must have been inspiration from when I played Slay the Princess, because man, that one's peak. I'm doing okay. Well, that's good. Is there a guy looking at an Ace Attorney character? I mean, he kind of does. Did I you know, I'm trying to think now. At the time when I was making this, would I have been playing kind of wondering now, would I have been playing Ace Attorney at this point? I might have. I'm gonna walk around a little bit. I will say the footstep sounds were something I had to take a lot of time to figure out. On the bench, taking the quiet of the night. Feel ready to go. All right. This is the first time I found a plugin for RPG Maker for doing real-time lighting, and it was kind of different to get it working correctly. Hello, Ichabod. It's been a while. Hey, dog. Dog seems rather intense in its vigil. His name tag is Wolfie. I love Wolfie. Approach the man who stands at the door to this huge manor. His gaunt body holds up fine clothing of indeterminate material. I can't speak. Smells of cedar and wax. Good evening, my friend. I see the invitation brought you here promptly. Let us see to the rules of the game inside. His voice carries like a shrill whistling through his teeth. Turns slowly, deliberately, his gait deathly quiet. Hope you and this house can be good friends. It would not do if you cannot get along with the play. You will stay. Here's in the house, the edge of the hallway. Since he's within, though now stands so close to the dark, so then you can sense the solitary aura of this exuberant place. I feel like that's a typo, but I don't know if it is or not. I feel like I'm going to end up going back and double-checking and finding out that, yes, indeed, I need to fix that. I feel like I'm going to double-check that later. I feel like, though, with some things, it can be actually very... I feel like with... Oh. I will say, I feel like with some things with like making some games, and with, I would say by extension, when you're putting together a game, I feel like it's very easy for some things to slip through the cracks because you just don't notice. That outside kind of reminds me of the Infinity Castle. I can see that. Approach your host, who responds with a wolfish grin. He turns the face completely, always keeping his hands in view. Good, you do not balk at the door. Some people stand at the doorway and decide this is not for them. Such as life, only you could choose to step through the door to your fate. Game is simple. Each night you'll receive a message and be sent to retrieve something for me. Simply return here with it and you win that round. The only rule is that you come back alive. Game at first blush sounds too simple. All this pageantry for a glorified scavenger hunt. It can't be all that dangerous like you recall it being advertised. However, you should know what you're looking for. Specifically, what you're looking for are pages of a book, the Book of Life to be exact regarding the source. The lost pages are quite potent and latent divine energy. You'll need to handle the subversive effects until you can return here. Aren't sure whether or not he's being serious about all this. Not with that smile, at least. However, he offers you something, a flashlight. Never saw his hands move behind him. You will need this. I love that. I do love that it turns on. I want that guy's top hat. It's really good. Given a flashlight. Has a charging cable built into its handle. I have been told it is rather modern in design. By us going to the east side or your right hand side, and start with the living room door. You'll know what I mean when you touch the door. And you can ask him a bunch of questions. I'm gonna walk around a little bit just so I can talk about the house design. It took me, I think it took me about, let's see, because I'm thinking about the game's, I'm thinking about the game's general design and how long it took me to get some things done. I think this game, I think this house took me a couple weeks to get down right, like exactly how I wanted. I know the floor design for the first floor took me like a whole, it was one whole day to get the design down. And then it took me a good long while to get the big thing was getting all of the, getting the lighting right. Because I wanted the lighting to be, frankly, I wanted the lighting to be messing with people. Which is what I wanted. That's what I really wanted from all this. I didn't see, but why did you bless me with this beautiful gameplay? Funny enough, I haven't gotten to the rest of the stuff yet, but... So, basically, funny enough, also, I didn't actually play Banjo-Kazooie before I got to this, but... I do feel like it's worth noting that I used the hub world idea from a lot of N64 games. Because I liked the idea of, here's a horror game where the entire game is going to be taking place in... It's like, here's this house, and then you go to different worlds from the same... Like, I say worlds, but different, you know, different levels from there. I liked the idea of that for a horror game because it feels kind of like... At least to me, I guess it feels like it's something that most horror games don't really do. You know, it's the sort of thing that I don't think people really do that. You know, they usually want, like... Also, the ad break's on, so I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna get to the level, and then I'll keep talking. I know where the first level is. It's I will say, I kind of had to, like... Because I wanted the lights to make sure that the doors... I wanted to make sure all the doors were visible when you find them. So I had to decide how to do that, and I had to mess with these lights for a very long time. It felt like I was messing with this for a very, very long time. Jeez. I'm gonna wait for the ad break, but now I can talk about stuff. Currently being sold by ads. Give me a sec. No worries, no worries. I'm gonna take a moment. I'm also gonna make my to-do list. Because I forgot that I have to do that. I do think if I find out that's actually a typo, I might actually just make an update just to fix the typo for this game. Just like literally go through, fix one typo. I might spend some time tomorrow doing some other like checks and fixes anyway, because that might be a fun time to check. Updated. Writing up a list really quick, sorry. There we go. Make a note. Alright, I'm back for because of what I missed. Nothing yet. I'm waiting till the ad break's finished to continue forward, but I did actually spend also, well, I think one of the things that took the most amount of time for this game was the musical identity. I spent a fair bit of time, like, you know, listening to other things and trying to find what I wanted musically for this game. And I think this one might be one of my more... I'd say parts of it are more experimental than any other soundtrack I've done. Partially because I had to do... Part of the soundtrack was the ambience. And having to figure out how to get the ambience just right was very hard for me to do. It was actually quite difficult, so... That's a tough one. You know, while I'm here... where is it? I'm gonna... nope, not here. But I do know one thing in the layout that I did do... Let's see if I can go find it. Hang on. I'm gonna go... Button first. Oh, act is what I did for sprint. Not here. Where is it? Yeah, it's up here. This house is huge, by the way. It is massive. Wonder how long the hallway is gonna be this time. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, how's the way back? Yeah, games are my favorite type of games besides capitalism related games. I can understand it. That's not... Nope, nope, okay. That's actually... Okay, that's remarkably long. So, fun fact, and it's not something I will discuss exactly how I do it, but I do make the hallway longer. I make the hallway longer on different directions when you're going in the back hallways. Specifically to mess with people. But also because I did actually find it to be a very fun mechanic. It actually is really cool. It's something I use a bunch in this game. And a lot of it comes from the fact that it's really funny to, like, because the sense of space is kind of warped when you do that sort of thing. In particular with that one, that's actually why you can't have light source. Like, if you're gonna have light sources, there are some of these I had to do where you have a looping hallway. Getting it so it looped perfectly so you don't notice the light source moving was one of the hardest parts of this entire project. Was getting... Most of this game's hardest stuff was, how do I get certain effects and tricks to happen without breaking the illusion, you know? Let's see. Book talisman, open the door. Step through the door onto a city street. Your eyes take a moment to adjust from the dark of the manor to the sudden change in scenery. You take a moment to realize you indeed stand in the city at daytime. Streets are buzzed with people and the rolling sounds of cars. How did you travel in the blink of an eye? You realize a small talisman from the doors outside your wrist by red string. With it in hand, you realize it's made of paper and writing on the back. 5th floor in the library, find the mausoleum. Blink and the world changes. Signed by Ichabod, the game must be on. Yep. I like how it says level 1, like you're gonna get a level. Okay, I have to stop myself. I'm only gonna mention, there's a fun fact. You can step out on the street here, and your jump scare value is gonna become very important if you step out on the street here. I think you can guess why. It was one of the first things I did in this game in terms of like actual scary moments. It is probably one of the funniest things I ever did because at one point, can I even, okay, question, do I have a form? Okay, real talk, I'm gonna see, do I have a form that's not, I don't want to block any of the screen. Do I have a form that I can, hang on, do I have a form I can, I guess I'll just have to accept that I'm gonna block part of the screen if I do form change. What's the least intrusive one? I guess this one. Me Kongle. I'll be Kongle for a bit. Yeah, me and my boy are perfect. All these are goofy and I love them. I really like having my different forms. The only one I didn't draw myself was number 6, which is this one, but yeah, yes. But I like doing my own models. I know I should be using like a live 2D or like a proper VTuber model, but I kind of just like I like drawing myself. I like being goofy. I like trying to make the best approximation I can of the costumes. This one's from Legend of Dragoon. I grabbed Kongle's outfit. Now this is peak. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, we can walk around out here a little bit, but yeah, no, I think the funniest thing with this in particular is the fact that those cars, I include them for a reason. It's very funny. Oh, hello, lady. Approach a desk where young clerk says type on her keyboard. Her eyes very slowly as you approach, giving back a funny smile. Oh, how can I help you? She waits your response. What do you do? I like this one a lot, but we're just gonna ask about the mausoleum. Book about a mausoleum or a book about mausoleums in general. You aren't sure which way to distinguish what you mean. Well, let me check the database. Types in your computer. It searches the term with practice efficiency. 3 results in the library right now. 2 books on the 2nd floor that are history textbooks. 1 on the 4th floor, fiction short story collection. Author isn't particularly well known. You must be a fan. Thank you for the information. Yep. There's a bunch of people here. There is one cutscene. I want to see if it works properly. Hang on. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm also going to check some of the shelves. Not every bookshelf has books that catch your eye, but Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse catches your attention for a moment. Fun fact, a bunch of these are references to a lot of different... This is like the reference central right here. Not really on time, but I feel like horror understands women better than any genre. You know what? I think you're correct. I think you're spot on. I think particularly, like... Well, and like part of horror is helplessness, and it's something that, unfortunately, a lot of women really understand. It's something that happens to a lot of women, and it's not... It's something that it works its way into horror very, like, frequently, that, you know, women are placed in situations. Lazy Games slowly fades in. Lazy Games? But yeah, it's like, I do think that... But yeah, I think you're spot on with that, though, because it is true. I think... Do all the shelves have a... I'm trying to remember which shelves... Read wall textbooks. This section appears to be a mix of different histories of many countries. You almost stopped to read a series called History Makers. Another one. Oh no, that's right. It's only the edge shelves. It's only the edge shelves. That's right. It's only the edge shelves because not all of them. You don't know what Lazy Games is? I don't think I do. No. So fun fact. Like I said, this is reference central. These bookshelves. I'm only made it so the edges are referenceable because by the works of Thucydides, they take a large portion of the shelf. It's all Greek to you though. I spent a lot of time writing that one. And it's funny because I say the works of Thucydides, it would just be a bunch of copies of the same book. It really would just be the one book copied over and over. But Thucydides wrote a very important history of the Peloponnesian War. Mythology books of all origins line this shelf in a row. If you didn't have a task to do, 1 or 2 of these would make interesting reads. The non-fiction books here are thankfully less imposing in size here. It's a collection of biographies of various historical figures. Yeah, I remember I wrote a bunch of stuff here. I did a bunch of stuff in this one because I wrote a bunch of references. Knowing you, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Among Us or something on top of the bookshelves. Funny enough, I don't think I did an Among Us, but I think at some point, I'd like to say at some point I referenced Among Us. Is indeed a trash can. Are you going to check every trash can? Is indeed a trash can. Are you going to check every trash? Yeah, the trash cans. Lights. Is the guy here? Oh, here he is. Hello. Hello. Oh, hey, man. You catch a game last night? You're not even sure which sport he's referring to. What do you say? No. Yeah, me neither. Oh, boy. What? Okay, so... Funny story. That's actually in reference to... I love that guy already. So, fun thing. That's actually in reference to a thing that actually happened to me in high school. I was walking by a guy, and he said that that exact exchange happened. And when he said, yeah, me neither, I came to a dead stop and just stood there thinking about it. It's been more than 10 years since I heard that statement. I have never forgotten that exact moment, ever. It is one of those things that just is the funniest thing to me. Entire section of manga, though a few volumes are missing. Someone seems to have jumbled a few of the series in order. You know for a fact they got Steel Ball Run up in here. Talkie romance novels. One has deeper disrespect for proper organization. So beautiful. It's like, well, it's like, and I try to include... One thing I try to do is I wanted to include references, but I also liked the idea... I also like the idea of just... Because one of the things that I got... I don't want to say crap about, but... Print versions of... Oh, that's right. This is the print versions of visual novels reference section. That's right. Because they made like print version... I had a joke about... not a joke, but like a reference to the different visual novels that I had played at the time. Princess, Literature Club, and D-Mail. Any in between. Funny enough, Slay the Princess, Doki Doki Literature Club. I forget which one. My brain is clocking off. Got flashes for the mention of Literature Club. Yeah, no, I played that second year of college. It was very interesting. Genres bleed into each other from top to bottom. Yeah, I forget how many shelves you have to check for. Wonder why they're placed so close together. Horror and romance, truly. From King to Jackson, Poe to Stoker. Your eyes focus on the books with the face on the spine. White face on a black cover, trapped in an eternal smile. That one's my reference to I'm Scared. I do remember that one. Mystery novels. Traces the mentions over Falcons and Hounds in the classic section. Very good. That's a Maltese Falcon, and the Hound one is... The Hound one is losing me, but I think it's just because my brain is like jumbling up all my stuff really quick. Some of these I also would look up the reference and then like, you know, like just for gore. Alright. Now we're in the top section. Books on this floor seem far more niche and unknown than any other. All the titles are complete unknowns to you. Yep. I think that's all of them, I think. Yeah, all of them are the same. Ah, there it is. Yep, here we are. Da-da-da. Find a book on the shelves with a piece of paper sticking out from the middle of it. The book is titled Mausoleum of Dreams by Greg Gonzalez. Hey! It reminds me of a Tumblr post I once saw. It was a random animation where I would see this bookshelf, guess what's behind it. That's right, a spider, and I got jump scared by a jumping spider. I feel that, man. Fun fact, and I say fun fact as if this isn't an obvious one. This is my second book. I included my own book in this one. It's very self-referential. It's really silly, but take the first page from within the book. The page itself is old but not brittle like you would expect. You go to put away the page, but it seems to glow with dim gold light before fading back. Your task is complete, it seems. You put the page away. Don't you get it tucked between your body and the flashlight Ichabod gave you. Area has become oddly quiet. The sounds of the city outside were already quiet up here, but this is a new kind of silence. Your heartbeat is the only sound you hear clearly. Still air crawls against your skin like a gentle swarm of docile ticks. Feel compulsion to leave. You're a game dev, an author, and a streamer. You're racking up that money, bro. I wish. I wish I was better at selling myself, because I know that getting people to buy physical print books is a little bit harder nowadays. I personally like selling. I sell through Amazon because it's gonna keep it real. It's a lot easier to get ordered to print books from Amazon than anything else, because as a solo guy who is not going to wait for publishers and editors to get my stuff, you could just go to Amazon, give them your book, they let you do some work to get it all set up, and then they print it for you. I actually have all my books in print myself. I have all my copies. I quality check them. And yeah, no, it's one of those things that it makes me very proud. It also is very surreal to be holding a thing that ostensibly was a Word document for much of its life as a physical book. So it's really interesting. But I do hope that I can get more people to see my books over time. Love reading, but if it's not a fanfic or of my favorite show, or I'm not reading with a group of people, I won't be compelled to read it. Don't judge me. I think that's fair. I think that's usually what happens. You know, I think like for a lot of readers. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But I know for a lot of readers, there's a fair bit of like. What the F was that? Yeah, that just happens. Don't worry about that. Like a light exploded or something, you know, it happens. Oh well. All right, yeah, down we go. Come down the steps to an unfamiliar landing. The stairs do not return to the third floor you pass through. Dude, I'm gonna worry about that. Eyes trace along repeating patterns of the paint on the walls. The bookshelves carry the same empty books across every shelf, all filled with words without meanings, titles without context, but there's no dust, no remnants of life now or since. You aren't sure where this is, but you feel silence watches you closely. You feel compulsion to leave. Okay. This level was probably one that I had to do a lot of fixings for because there was a lot of stuff that broke when I did some changes. And by extension, I had a bunch of other stuff I had to fix with this game in general. I think this one might have been the most buggy in its different iterations of all of them. A lot of that came down to the new lighting system I was using. It is very temperamental, and there are still some effects that are a little bit goofy. I don't even think they're bad. I think it's mostly... They're not even bad. It's like holy bookshelves. Yeah, don't worry about it. But it's one of those things where I have found that I think this particular... Yeah, see, like this one, it's not even... I don't even think that's wrong. It just looks... It looks funky. But I have found that I kind of like it when this game gets kind of funky. Like, I think it kind of adds to... To me, it adds to the surreal energy of it, but... I imagine for some people, they'd look at it and be like, well, what the heck is all this? And I'm like, yeah, fair. I get that. I also, so funny thing, I included the little circle of light around your character for a specific reason. Funny thing, when I tested this with just the little beam in front of you, it became very hard to figure out where your character was. So I would include this little beam. So like, even if you're behind something, it'll let you know where you are. You can go back here too. Grab all the... That's pretty good. But yeah, you can go back there. There's a bunch of stuff. I tried my best to be... This is one of those things that a lot of horror games have to do. You have to trust that your players are going to be with you on the ride. And to some extent, some of that is also, you have to trust that your players are going to be with you on it, you know? Stairs do not blind or contort in strange shapes. Yet, anytime your eyes strayed from the steps, you felt the darkness moving, the stale air, filled with the scent of old books and decaying bones, shivers at you every moment. Feel compulsion to leave. I'm not going to check this sign. I don't remember which one of these is the... Bulletin board with local events and requests looms over you. There's a flyer of a young man offering guitar lessons over on the east side. Looks newly printed. Did you ignore the crack of the wall and the red light? I might. Question. Is this where it starts? I don't remember this is this where it starts? It is. Okay. I remember this puzzle. I will, you know what I'm going to go find the door. I'm going to go find the door so I can highlight what, whoa. Whoa. That is incorrect. You double check that. I think this one's second floor. I'm gonna have some stuff to do after stream, I swear. I wouldn't know, Brochacho, it's not my game. Funny enough, I think I get lost in this. I think part of it is the fact that I went so long without playing it that my brain is just like, yep, I remember some things. Hello, doors. Large gate bar in the way forward. Number 8 is scratched on the surface of the metal. There's no discernible way to open it from here. What's with the red glowing things? Oh, they're exit signs. Exit signs. Those are exit signs. And the other red glowing things are the little levers. The other ones are levers. Let me go find it. Yeah, here it is. Digital number 5 is on the side. Right? Is there a 3? Pretty sure there's a 3. Pretty sure there's a... Is this the 3? That's 4. Okay, that's 4. So basically the switches correlate to numbers. 6. I swear there's just a 3 somewhere, right? I'm pretty sure the original puzzle was 3, 4, 1. That's what I would do? Yeah, there it is, 3 and 5. There it is, yep. 8 is on the side, yep. I will say that this puzzle took not a whole ton of thinking on my part, but just trying to make it so it's in a space that is you can like work with. That's a little bit harder. Why is the lighting on that weird? I'm gonna have to check that. I don't know why that one's so weird. I swear there are some. I feel like there are some bugs that I patched out and then they just reappeared. Fun fact: forest scene is unlucky. I can see. I think I've heard that before, and I think it's similar in Japan. How could you even do all this? Paper in the book, that seems easy, but how do you even begin to make a building do all this? There's no logical way to explain any of what you've seen thus far. These questions do nothing to get you out of this labyrinth. Do you worry that you won't find an exit? Yes. Good. Feel compulsion to leave. Yeah, it's funny. I'm trying to think, like, is there a level that I find more or less has, like, it's, like, absolutely nothing wrong with it? And I'm sort of wondering if... I think in particular with this game, I feel like this game has the most temperamental stuff with it. But a lot of that's because I would play the game... I think this game had a lot of... I had to do a lot of growing pains to get it right. There's a lot of stuff that it just took me a while to get it right. I think it turned out pretty good. It's the one... This one's 16, I think. Let me hydrate really quick. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. But one thing I have kind of come around to, and it's something I kind of... I don't know if I get on my own case about it, but I do find that I think it's... Let's see, is it these two and then this one? I think it's those two and this one. Or it's that one. I think it's this one. No. I think maybe it's the next one. I know that there were 3 in particular that I was like, yeah, I know which one. I know where they are. 17. Where is it? There's a 3 somewhere. I know it. There it is. Lever. Actually, one thing I am surprised by. Oh, you know what? I know why that one's like that. Oh, the MC is treating this like a normal occurrence. Well, here's the thing. The MC, the dialogue that I've written, the dialogue I wrote has made it very clear this is not a normal occurrence, but it's more or less just, okay, if you don't go along for the ride, you don't get out of it. But, you know, thought this was Japan where ethos was a thing? Ethos. Also, Toaster, how's it going? I was trying to... I'm trying to remember, because I know that there's... Well, I think both have something like it. Up. Really wondering if it's intentional. Is there, they play with that one in the Silent Hills? I see. The air lacks a stale touch from those below, though you're uncertain truly how you could be ascending again. Are you truly ascending, or are these steps merely winding in directions you cannot perceive? The truth does not matter. This place is not one must linger upon the shape of madness. No compulsion to leave. Okay, I'm gonna go get something. I'm gonna go get something before I forget to get it later. Hang on. But lever. Hang on. I'm gonna grab this first. There's a menorah on the table. Do you wish to light its candles? Yes, please. Okay. So I do have to. I want to say something in an official capacity. If you want to see everything the game has to offer, you have to find all of these. These are kind of hard to. They're not that hard to find, but they can be hard. They can be hard to find in some levels. So be aware. I'm gonna send my boy back for now. But be aware and behold. If matching users. I hope you're doing well today, Toaster. Hope all's good. No, the boy. Well, it's like he's just taking a break. Honestly, with this one, I think with this one he needs to take breaks because, to be entirely honest, I feel like with this game it is one where it's like I think both me and him are going to be a little bit tired when we're done for tonight. But a lot of that comes from the fact that I think this game. I think the library in general knew that I was not all the way there with it when I was making this one, you know? Let's see, I need 6, so 5 and 1 are... I was about to say, why are these guys are oddly... I forgot. I feel like one of the chat rules you should put on the Steam should be on your Steam should be to respect the boy. It'd be really funny. Might need to at some point. I forgot how fast those guys move. Let's see. This one's numbered. I think this one's, yeah, this is the 1. And this is 27. I need a 5. He's a runner. He's a track star. Let's see. I don't know why he's so weird. There we go, 32. I think this one might be the one that's the most... I think this one's a little bit temperamental. I think that one's a bit strange, but here we go. Light seems to strain itself to maintain its gaze on you. The rows of shelves of books grow darker, older as they stretch into the horizon. There's a path between the canes of forgotten knowledge. Into that path is a strange stone building. From so far away, it looks like a faraway predator eyeing its prey. Another hungry abyss that leers into your soul. You feel compulsion to leave. Cannot turn back now. So, fun fact, the only problem, Galaxy, the real sad thing, is that you can't flip every lever and unlock the door. It's that you flip the certain levers and you add the numbers up. I wish... You know what? I should have built a room where it's just flip all the switches and that's how you get it. Because that would be very funny. Because that would be very funny to do. I think that would have been fun. But I see what you mean. Where is it again? Oh, there it is. Man. I forgot about that. I forgot how, like, it's just like... Love that. Okay, so, fun fact. Again, I wouldn't know, it's not my game. Reasonable. I do hope that you'll play it sometime, though. It is available on Steam. And I know that... you know what's funny? According to Steam's TOS, you're not allowed to mention when sales are going to happen. And if your game's going to go on sale before they start. But weird fun fact, you're not allowed to do that. So I'm not allowed to technically officially say when sales happen, but how much moolah is the question? For how much moolah is the question? If it's not on sale, it's $5. And the game is like, I'd like to say on a first playthrough, because you have to read everything. I think it's like 6 to 8 hours on a playthrough first. Meant to be replayed, so technically you can get like 12 to 16 hours of gameplay out of it. $5. $5 a get game. Well, I appreciate that a lot. But I did have a fun fact about this. So the Mausoleum of Dreams, the book that I referenced directly in this game, that one is actually... I tried my best to replicate the building in this. It's changed, though, because it's not the same building. Definitely not the same. Hello. Inside this building is bathed in pitch darkness. Shimmers in your eyes like stained glass, bright colors masquerading in the void from your flashlight. Flashlight is the only source of light, but your eyes swear there must be more. There must be more to this reality than the darkness. There cannot be nothing there, nothing or something. The air smells like bones and wet stone. You feel compulsion to leave, but the only way out is forward. Kind of wondering if I should do... So is this all different buildings, or is it like the backups are just repeating? Funny thing. So here's the thing. This is only the first level. Every level has something different going on. This one kind of depends on how you interpret it. I was listening to a lot of Tool when I did this section. Do you remember that? Stare at the abyss in front of you. The darkness swallows the light of your flashlight hungrily and patiently. You recall the words of the talisman. Blink and the world changes. Do you choose to blink first? I'm trying to remember. Do you... Yeah, I'm gonna hit yes. You decide to close your eyes. Find yourself back in a mildly familiar space, the library where you stood when you retrieved the first page. Checking your phone, it appears only 5 minutes have passed. You know you didn't simply have a thorough hallucination just now. You shake off the chills of the strange feeling being watched. You feel compulsion to leave. Okay, funny thing. Those skulls, I'm scared. Well, I mean, it is a mausoleum, but, one... This event is gone, so that guy is not here anymore. We're gonna run really fast. There's people here. I like how I designed this space. I like it. Step out, not onto the sidewalk in the library again, but to another room entirely. It is as though you blinked and the entirety of reality changed before you. The air is still, the dry embrace of the darkness scratching your cheeks. The horror compulsion to get out of this room. Perhaps backtracking this time will be safer. Yeah, they're gonna do that. The lobby is now completely empty. No breeze or warmth fills the spaces between. The voices and indistinct ambience is missing. The lobby is now completely empty. No breeze or warmth fills the spaces between. Voices and indistinct ambience is missing. The lobby stretches back out of sight. The back wall disappearing into the darkness. To the distance, my bad. Why does the lobby of the library look like the lobby of my town's library? You know what's funny? I didn't reference a particular library for this. I just pulled from my memory of my college libraries. And like the various classrooms that I had been in and places I'd been. I really did just reference every bookstore and library that I had in memory, and I didn't look anything up for this one. I just built it off of pure vibes, which for some reason worked. I don't know why, but for some reason it was very easy for me to like rebuild this from memory, as it were. But yeah, I'm a big fan of how this this area turned out. Does seem I have some little things to check when I'm done. I think after stream, I don't know if I'm gonna run my full 4 hours tonight on stream. I don't know if I will. I think I'm gonna play a few levels and then, well, probably the more you climb up the library, the more you can tell something is going on. I feel like part of the way that I designed this space was that I wanted it to have that backrooms feel of like it's wrong, but it's familiar. And some of this game's horror is the fact that I liked the idea of, here's a familiar space and let me try to take a new twist with it, you know, do something different. And this library level was the first one I conceptualized. This was the first one I was like, yeah, I need to do this one. Bear witness to dozens of towers of books that rise out of sight into a starless sky. Pillars spiraling upwards into the void, leaning and lurching as they disappear into the darkness. Is it truly the sky or the ceiling? Are these the roots of the abyss you bore witness to above? The smell of aging paper and dry plaster carries itself past you with cold caresses of a breeze's deathly feathers flowing past you. You wish you could leave right away. Do you force yourself to blink? No. Taking the spiraling towers of books and shelves ascend to the dark heavens above. Stare out at the void, wondering if you could reach those shadows too. It's not enough to simply observe, not to sate your curiosity. Apocryphal nightmare from which you cannot awaken. There's only one way forward. You feel compulsion to leave. I couldn't make the towers literally infinite, so I had to describe it verbally, like with the text. I kind of like how this area came out because it feels so just wrong. It just feels wrong, man. I really like that. It feels nice. Where is she? Oh, she's somewhere here. Where the heck? Is she in the next? Is it the next area? Some way this reminds me of a book I'm writing. If it says that wrong, I feel woo. I forgot about her. I forgot which row it was. Red light. So, fun fact: some parts of this game's horror I couldn't physically draw. So, me having to do my writing, that was the best way I could get some things across. Because in some cases, there is nothing more horrifying that I could draw than something that someone's brain would come up with. Which I remember when I was making this game, one of the things I had to come up with was, is this going to be scary enough for someone? I'm like, if someone's playing this game and they can picture what I'm writing, it'll get to them. If they can't, then I imagine they will not be particularly pleased when they play the game. But I do feel like it's one of those things where, for the most part, I think people would be very interested in the descriptions, because it's a lot of... I think the thing I wanted to do also, it was something I realized a lot of streamers and VTubers and like... Maladaptive Daydreamer, I am one of those people. Funny thing, I feel like the thing I wanted was I wanted creators of all types to be able to read these things out loud and be able to, like, express outwards. You know, just like... I wanted it to try and like tap a little bit on the people really like doing voiceovers with these. Far up at the abyss into the black above. Wicked spires of profane knowledge take it to the murky infinity of the night. Above you can see the creature emitting crimson light from the last area. Multiple pairs of feathered black wings carry the sacrilegious dragon through the void. Hasn't noticed you here. You feel compulsion to leave. So, yeah, there is a... Describes it as a dragon, but there's many different descriptions of it that I think fit what it is. I will say this... Okay, this effect right here, getting this to look right, where you're walking behind the giant pillars, that took me so freaking long to get, you don't even know. It's so hard for me to get that effect right because it looked so goofy in early versions of the game. Hated getting this right. Hated it. It made me so upset when I didn't get it right the first time. It's hard. This one's hard to get for some reason. It was very weird. But I was listening to Tool's Schism when I was making this part, and for some reason it's like what I picture when I see this section. Oh, the red light. I like that. I love that red light effect so much. It looks so sick. I love that. Get out of here. Come out from the shadows of the forest of pillars to find the greatest tree of them all. Grand spiraling branches arc off into the darkness from the massive trunk. This game with Doom music would be peak, I bet. I feel like this with, I'd like to say Look Outside music. Look Outside's music would also be good. I'd like to say... I think Mad Father's ambience would have been awesome, too. Power looming out and over you, a horrid answer to the question of to your insignificance in this place. The thousands and thousands of bookshelves that comprise the bark of the tree shed the occasional loose page as you watch it sway in the darkness. Jesus. Red lightning streaks across the black, illuminating no ceiling or clouds, only open darkness in the tree's twisting visage. You observe the dragon crawling into an open orifice far above into the tree. Taking in the surroundings and considering your goal, there's no way but forward. You feel a compulsion to leave. Here's the big tree. Gee, we said Jesus at the same time, Craig. I forgot how loud that one is. I forgot about that one. Hello, here's book. Worn and weathered book lays on the ground. You pick up and thumb through the pages, quietly inspecting the text. It's a collection of strange stories regarding monsters. Do you continue reading? Yes, please. Not every monster is a hulking beast, craven animals thirsting for blood. Animals hunt for sustenance, but monsters hunt for the thrill. The most vile of all are those that savor the suffering of their prey. Animals do not seek to further pain. Monsters extend the scarlet conclusion to its final drops. Beware those who demand suffering of their world. You put the book down slowly and let it rest against the bookshelf. What a lovely read. Sure, it is a lovely read. Tight spaces freak me out even in games. I feel like level 4 in this one would be like kind of rough. Whoa. Massive spire. The first thing to strike you is the cold air and desolate stone of the interior. Somewhere above, a clock echoes down its solitary tempo. Your eyes cast upwards to the ceiling, vaulted high above your head and cast in brick and mortar. This reality is far too beyond your own to blink out of existence. This darkness too deep to dream away. You feel compulsion to leave. Fun fact, actually, about this sound design. I found it from the same audio sources that Fear and Hunger gets some of their audio. Namely, this, I think this particular ambience and there's a couple other sounds that I grabbed from there that I really liked, so I used it there. Your eyes linger on the details in the stonework as you stand before the angel statue. The lifelike details are hard to ignore as your eyes strain to take it all in within this dark space. Dark place, dark space. You know what I mean. I think the ambience, I find it so amazing people find a way to represent a feeling of dread and terror in games and or media. Yeah, it's... I know for me personally, I think part of it for me was working on this for long enough. I do think that it really changed my relationship with horror in general. But I would say that in particular, I think working on this game really did change how I feel about getting scared. And machine flickers in the dark of the room. I don't remember. Is there like a... I know there's a few scares that I left in that I don't know where they are, though. I know this one's like... I'm trying to remember what this one's like. But I like that this... I feel like this game in particular, I think... It's kind of funny. I feel like it fits in that weird middle ground of... I think it wouldn't be someone's first horror game. And I think it would be probably best for those who want a horror game, but like reading horror novels. You know what I mean? I feel like that would be like where people would be. It's like that's the ground I think people like, you know? Let's see. I think this one's 8 again. Or I think this one's 8 again if I remember. 7. Yep, that it is. I'm just gonna run right through. See you later. I like this. I do like how this area is laid out. I do think this game reminds me of Dead Plate. Dead Plate in a really cool way. What is Dead Plate? Or am I or is this a... You notice there are thin gaps between the bookshelves just large enough to hide in them. Maybe your only point of safety in this room. Oh yeah, I remember now. 5. Oh god, I forgot that. I know you have to get 16, but where is it? I know you have to get 16 in this area, but I forget where the... I forget where the numbers are you need. 13. I think, is this the 3? I hope it's the 3. 15. Oh, bollocks. Oh, is there a 1? I hope there's a 1. Uh-oh. Another switch. Forget where all the switches are. Crap. This is what happens when I don't play my game enough. This is 22. That's what I wanted. Oh god! I forgot. Forgotten that I remembered. Side. Okay. I think if I get the 6 in the middle, then that should work. That one. I think if I get that one, that's enough. 17. What? Balls. Ooh. I swear to God, I just forget what numbers I need. What are the ones up top again? I forget. One's 2. That one's 8. I remember which one I remember which number I actually need. I think I just need the 3 on the other side and I'm done. The bit game where, like this one, where the MC is a fresh hired waiter for a highly rated restaurant, which struggles with relationship problems. He finds his boss has been killing and eating people, including his girlfriend. That's messed up, but kind of interesting. It's 20. That's 6. Oops. Kind of interesting. I feel like I might need to look into that one. That sounds interesting. I feel like some horror games really are just like made by their weirdness, you know? I saw one recently called The Skin Stapler that I just... And you don't. God. I forgot that he will reset his, he'll reset his aggro if you... Can I help you? Yeah, I'm gonna try and get him to walk away, because I forget that he has to reset. I forget. I will confess, getting characters to chase properly in this particular game that was actually one of the things that's still a bit janky. As you can see, it is still kind of janky. It is very hard to get. I think RPG Maker has like a weird thing with chase events. And a lot of that's because of the pathfinding in RPG Maker. It is a little bit confused as to where to put the player and also put the characters in retrospect. If I'm trying to remember. Forget where it went. This is 20. This is the 6. Is it over here still? It is. Okay, there it goes. I think it resets his path entirely, and... Okay, there we go. One thing that RPG Maker also has that is very annoying to get to behave. So, RPG Maker has a particular thing, so normal about Dead Plate. Well, his reasons he can't taste the food he makes in are fine, so he eats people in hopes that he'll get some sort of joy in the food he makes by eating people. I see. I see. So, one thing about this game in particular, so RPG Maker has a problem that you have to find ways, because there are code methods to circumvent this particular thing. Characters don't move unless they're on screen. So normally pathfinding things don't work unless a character's on screen. I have a plugin that is supposed to circumvent that. It says, okay, keep moving even if you're not on screen. The problem is it still checks how far you are from a particular thing, and will still be like kind of temperamental about it. Back from my appointment. Well, that's good. I hope it went well. It's going pretty well. I think it's going well. Been pretty good so far. Cool. Love studying pathfinding. I think pathfinding is one of the hardest things to get right in video games. RPG Maker also loves to fight you on it, and it is very painful to do. So if you're working on an RPG Maker game, if you're having trouble with pathfinding, know that everybody has trouble with pathfinding when it comes to RPG Maker, man. It is never easy. For some reason, RPG Maker just loves being a pain in the neck about it. It's very difficult to work with for some reason. This one's 16. I think it's just pull 2 levers. I forget. Is this one just 2 levers? No, it's 3 levers. It's one here, then one over here, then... We're done? Yep, there we go. 32. Yeah, I forgot this one's actually kind of easy. This one is like, it's just, you just need to dodge the guys. Okay, let's get out of here. I remember. Also, if anyone has noticed it, I don't know how many people would notice it, the change, but the clock does speed up and slow down randomly, and I do that just to mess with people. Clock ticking is really good at making that feeling of upcoming terror feel legit. Yeah, I made it so it specifically speeds up and slows down at a very weird, I did notice that. Yeah, it's one thing I did on purpose. If anyone ever noticed it, it is something I did on purpose. It's again, one of my favorite effects. The wide steps are also tall, the height of each step requiring surprising effort. The sound of the clock keeps ringing down the stairs. You feel compulsion to leave. All right, up the stairs we go. Funny thing about this stairwell, and I feel like I want to mention it just because it's one of those things that... I feel like when I start playing this, I might have panic attacks because I hate timers and stuff. All right, I forgot about that. But the whole thing with this game, to be entirely honest, is that the only things that are timers, really, are when you're explicitly being chased by something. You know what I mean? Thought my screen froze for a second. Nope, you're good. Ooh, forgot about the redness. The redness. Dust and mold hang in the air like fog at night. The arid mist, this arid mist dressing the red air with heavy caresses. See collections of food and shelves of books surrounded by claw marks and cracked stones. The redness. Ahead lies a long stretch of stone floor darkened by acrid stains and black particles. The scarlet waters give no smell and offer no clues. This place must be the lair of the large creature you witnessed flying through the void. You don't see it anywhere here. It must have left while you were within the tower. You see a long carpeted path at the far end of this room. Feel compulsion to leave. Summary. We've been playing through the first level, and I've been giving direct, like, dev commentary on it. And I've been mostly just discussing the game at large and trying to discuss my feel there. How far in are you? Can you finish one stream? I am in, this is level 1 of 13, and we haven't finished level 1 yet. It's been 1 hour. I've also been stopping to explain things, to talk through things, to also read all the dialogue I've written. All the text boxes and stuff. So, probably not. This is mostly just to show people the game, to talk about some of the things I've had with it. Some of the problems I've had. Because I had a fair number of problems trying to get this to work right, you know, to make, not just on a technical level, because technical level, yeah, I've had some issues with making this work, but also on the level of trying to get the story and the aesthetic and the feeling to be right. It was very hard for me to get it where I wanted it. And there are still some things that I feel like I could go back and adjust, maybe. But as I've told myself, with some things, it's like, if I go back and constantly sit for years working on one game over and over and over again and iterating, it's like, well, I won't get to any of the other projects I want to do. And that's something that I can't rectify. So when I finish a game, it's like, there will be a couple updates after a certain point, and I think I'm going to do one for tomorrow so I can update the game again. But besides that, I don't go through and constantly add to a game that I consider a finished story, you know? Oh yeah, I forgot. I Your eyes slowly trail down to the mirror against the stone pillar. Behind you, not more than 20 feet, is the dragon itself. You don't dare move. Your eyes trace over the shapes you can decipher in the darkness. The massive shape of the body is crouched, poised to leap like a large feline. Under one of its large claws, you see a grandfather clock, a talon stuck between the gears and silencing the passage of time. Your eyes find the nerve to locate its own eyes. In the small amount of light your flashlight shares with the mirror, you can see its 6 eyes. Meet its gaze. It knows you can see it. Its smile grows a Cheshire grin growing long down its body. It nods slowly. You keep your eyes forward, aware that the darkness hungers. You feel its icy breath gently cross the back of your neck. Yep, I forgot. I gotta run. I'm out of here. Forgot about that. Find yourself on a narrow path going towards a grand and massive canyon. Ultimate exaggeration of this deep and roaring place. The dark below swallows the light of your flashlight like ambrosia. Feel compulsion to leave. I do have a fun fact about that line, that voice line. That's me. I tried to get some voice actors to take my game, and I couldn't find any who wanted to, so, and I couldn't get... There was one big name that I sent an email to, and they very kindly responded and said they couldn't do my job, and I tried following up with some other voice actors, including one that I was like, oh, he wants to get into voice acting. Let me send him an email. And like, I sent him a Discord message, and like properly like, hey, I have a job for voice acting if you would like. I have this. And I actually wanted that guy, since I couldn't get anyone else, I wanted to ask that guy to do a couple of the parts. And I couldn't get anyone, so all the voice acting in this game I had to do, like, besides RPG Maker elements that were made for the game, any custom voice acting that was in this game, I had to do it. Because I couldn't find anyone to do it. So, kind of the downside of being a small dev is if you aren't friends with voice actors, you can't really get voice actors sometimes. So you kind of just have to suck it up and be your best friend. And if you can find someone to pay for that, it's great. But if you can't, then, that's right. Yeah, there it is. Oof. I forget how fast she is, but I know that would have been pretty bad if I didn't run. Use a voice modifier for female voices. I don't know if I would or not, but I guess it's good I didn't have to do any female voices, huh? Sorry, I'm just taking in the music again. Been a while since I've heard this one. I guess funny thing with this particular song, I don't know if anybody can... I'm really wondering, can anyone, when they listen to the guitar of this, can they pinpoint what song was in my brain when I was working on it? I don't know if anybody can really spot the chord progression from the outside, because I did borrow the chord progression from another song, but I don't know how obvious it is. It's one of those things where I don't know if it's an easy one to recognize, but it is a rather famous song that I was like, no, I like this idea a lot, but I don't know how many people would even know, because it's not... I don't know how many people would know anymore. One thing I've noticed as time has passed is that a lot of old art has kind of entered this weird phase where people don't recognize it anymore. And if you pull inspirations from those spaces, people don't catch that anymore, It's kind of weird, but people don't catch that stuff anymore. There into the darkness just beyond the door, you look into the darkness, taking in its myriad forms and possibilities, witnessing the infinite potential of what could be and what might never arrive. Step through the door, do you wish to blink? You know what's funny? I didn't really catch that. I just realized that I foreshadowed the entirety of the game in this one line. Like, when I say you look in the darkness and you see the myriad forms of the darkness, it's like, that's quite literally what the game is you every single time you step through the door, you are not sure what's on the other side, but you have to walk through it anyway because you've chosen to play the game. And that's kind of the whole thing with this whole game, really, was... And it's sort of something that it's something I kind of catch in my own ethos. I tend to write without thinking about the larger connections, because I don't think about that sort of stuff. It's probably, I will say, this is probably the most frustrating part of, if anybody ever asks me questions about what is the creative process for some of these things, sometimes it is literally, I was putting this together, and it was only once I got far enough in that I realized what I had done. I do not consciously, when it comes to storytelling, I do not consciously weave in themes and allegory. That comes from the construction. Like themes and metaphors and allegory and that sort of stuff, that is not something, if you're designing something with express intent, and you are doing this with a concrete answer, oftentimes you tend to be it tends to be very heavy-handed, right? And I think that that's the sort of thing that I think beginner writers, and I think even writers who are quite good at their craft and have I would say a bit of insecurity about being taken seriously with what themes they're going for. It's like they don't let the idea take them along. And when I worked, and I'm thinking about the fact that when I worked on this game, something that I kind of was grappling with at the time was the fact that I don't have great control over some of my lightning. You know, like, you're writing something. It's like, how do you get to some of these ideas? And with this game, like with that line of the myriad darkness in front of you, and you just have to step forward. You cannot go backwards when you're going forward in the story and playing the game. It's kind of how my life felt at the time. There's a chapter I don't think I'm going to play on stream ever, because I don't think I want to grapple with it again. There's level 6. I call it level 6, but more to do, but revel in your victory for now. But as you step through the doors, your eyes find yourself swimming in darkness. Here I am. Here's you have returned. An acquaintance of mine is quite fond of libraries, and I certainly see the appeal. Hundreds of books, hundreds of stories. In a way, a good story is much like entering another world entirely, no? Those realities are a rather nebulous thing indeed. Certainly seems like you took your time enjoying the trip too. Most excellent. Goodbye for now. And if anyone's asking, yeah, the goodbye for now thing is from me too. Cat. Hello. Cat glares knowingly at you as you observe it. From the cat's collar hangs a tag with a number 61. Feel strange thought pass through you. Do you wish to change the number? Okay, fun fact. I included this as a feature because I wanted people to, like, once you finish the first level, I wanted people to have the ability to either turn up the scares or turn them down if they found this first level to be like, oh, too much, too little, adjust things. I actually tried with every single level to include a feature that you could unlock by revisiting the room that you entered through the door. In this one's case, it's being able to precisely customize the game's experience from here. In each one, there is a different one. But yeah, no, it's one of those things that I did on purpose to make it so also that you could see some cool things. Section of short novels and TV guides sit on the shelves. If you feel like reading, can wait for now. Okay, also another thing. Okay, question. Is this broken? Oh, laptop on the desk. You're not sure what the password is. Okay, funny thing about this. All 3 of these also become available later. So as you finish more and more stories, you actually can come in here, read stuff. The computer is specific to a very particular story, but you can access it later once you have a specific item. You can actually do something with this computer, and it's very special. So I do hope people look into that. Can I just say the number of rooms I've put this painting in is almost absurd at this point. I've put this exact painting in so many rooms in RPG Maker, man. Like, it's very hard to find a better painting that's at this pixel art size. I do think the next time I do an RPG Maker game, you know what's funny? I've wanted to I don't think I want to fully abandon RPG Maker's default assets in a way, but I think it's because I don't like the idea of ditching what makes this engine kind of what it is, the in-universe Mona Lisa. It's the most printed, it's the most reprinted thing ever. It's just everyone has one. It's like the dogs playing poker, you know, it's just reprinted the enigmatic mountain range. It's actually a castle. It's actually, if I go here, you might be able to see it better. It's actually a castle on a mountain. I believe it's based, if I'm not mistaken, it's based on Neuschwanstein, which is a very famous castle on a mountain. I'm gonna double check myself before I double wreck myself, but I think that's the castle it's based on. It's a very famous castle. Neuschwanstein Castle. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yep, that's the one it's based on. Even has the it's like a little different, but it's very close. It's actually also very similar to, I think, Final Fantasy I's castle. I like it though. Ad break. Okay, we're gonna. Well, I'll sit and talk for a bit. Does anyone have any questions for me at this point? We're well into the hour mark. It's Monday. We've been literally. It's only been 24 hours since last stream, but I hope everyone's got a good start to their week already. I will confess, I was not sure about stream today. I was having a weird amount of anxiety about today. I don't know why, but I did notice that to some small part of it, I do know that some part of me was kind of like, I think opening this game up feels odd to me, you know? It's sort of like, oh, there's a fair bit of stuff still stuck in me that's like, oh, that's weird, you know? I think it's because, at least to my reckoning, I think I was in a very odd place mentally when I made this. It was a lot. I do know that level 6, the reason why I don't want to play it on stream, that level was made in response to an event happening in my life that I couldn't really handle. Not really that I couldn't handle it, but I guess more so the description would be, it was one of those events that's like, oh yeah, it rippled out from there way into the future. I could talk about it. I don't think I feel that bad about it, but it's yeah, because I talked about it on stream a little bit when it happened, because it was, you know, it was affecting me deeply when it happened. Still kind of is, but it was my dog. You know, I did say beginning of the stream that this stream might get heavy, but it was my dog. She, you know, was like one interestingly, a family friend of mine recently, his dog, a similar case where it was like healthy, and then hits a particular day and then it's just gone, you know, like, and I think level 6 of this game was me grappling with it in many ways, was trying to grapple with those grief feelings, and the whole game in general was me kind of grappling with a lot of feelings of my own insecurity as a creator, and some of the things that were kind of pins and needles for me, you know. And I know one of the things, and it's something I find, there's another level later that I also find, I don't think I would have written it the way I did if I didn't have such anger in me. Because there's a particular level that feels like it was very pointed towards not me, but to specifically it felt like I was trying to get back at feelings I had, and it felt like anger, and that's not really what I like making with, you know. It's one thing to have characters with wrath, but it's another thing to let that consume you, and that's not good, you know. Step through the door and onto a peculiar city street. Behind you looms the famous King's Court bar. This must be Victor Street. Okay, now the ad break's over, I do have something important to say. One of my best short stories that I've ever written is in Mausoleum of Dreams. It's called A Fox on Victor Street. So that story, this is the most direct reference to that story I have, where it's Victor Street and the King's Court, where the story begins. It took me a fair bit to get this to look the way I wanted. I actually really wanted this to look exactly how I envisioned it when I wrote the short story. But even doing that, this isn't exactly what I would have wanted, because I wanted it to have 2 floors. But one floor was actually, I think it looks better this way. I think it looks nice. It's like a tiny, like, it looks like the Mario castle. I found that it's possibly be a few miles away from the manor here. So, funny thing also, another aspect of this, it's actually coming up in my romance novel, funny enough. All of my books and my stories and my games everything I've ever made takes place. If it's a fictional story, it takes place in one of 3 places. There are 3 little worlds that I've worked on. I think 3 is also a fun number because, you know, there's the triple-faced Hecate, the, you know, goddess of magic and all that. And 3, the number 3 shows up in storytelling everywhere. 3s and 4s are the most, like, important numbers to writing. 3s in particular, 3 is, like, the most important number in storytelling, I would say also in math, in so many different fields. The number 3 is important. It is the most important number to me. It's like it's valuable. It's priceless. It's also really making me wonder that I made a meme that says a small price to pay for 3. I'm starting to realize, is this just like me grappling with the fact that in storytelling, 3 acts, 3 beats, you know, certain this, you're on some kind of special room, you pinch yourself, you kick the pavement beneath you, it's as real as you can perceive. Your small talisman from the door is now tied to your wrist. Page lies with a lost soul in on Victor Street. Gas station on the west side of Victor Street is your exit. Beware of the darkness that finds shelter in broad daylight. Crowds are a lonely place indeed. It's signed by Ichabod. The game must be on. Do want to check that text block. I think I'm going to do overall grammar check across the whole game and update the game tomorrow. Not even a typo. It's just I want to change the flow of that sentence. But I do think, genuinely, I think that this game... I think the funniest thing, I could probably go through, do a grammar check through the whole game, re-upload, and like update the game and just... It's a streetlight. I forgot. Cardboard box, these make for great hiding spots. Yes, they do. Cardboard box, no snakes here. What a stupid reference. Trash can. It's trash can. Alright, hoping it'll grow arms and legs and walk away. Funny enough, this was back when I played Honkai Star Rail. I did include this as a reference to that. Hello. The kind of office building. The sign outside is a hastily plastered help wanted post. Yep. What does it say? Oh, yeah, that's why it's help wanted post. A sign. Nice. Aren't sure what kind of business owns this building. You don't really see any signage outside. Amazing how many buildings feel like that, where you don't really know what's going on there, but... You're rather lucky you can see no cars on the road here, but do you want to test your luck out here? You see the east side of the city from here? There's some kind of animal rooting through a trash can down this way. Might as well leave it alone. Yeah, I kind of lock you in a little bit with some of the events here, but... I feel like this level in particular, I was trying to capture that feeling of... You know when you're playing like a video game, and you're playing you're by yourself, you know? Here, people inside the King's Court. It's a rather famous bar on Victor Street, you know. It is. But I wanted to kind of capture, with this level, I wanted to capture that feeling of loading up. For some reason, I was thinking about when you load up like Gmod or any 3D game, and you load up and you enter a level where there's nothing in it yet, or there's nobody there, you know, it's like that feeling of emptiness in a digital space feels very peculiar. Also, I think I was watching Suspiria at this point. Suspiria. I don't know why I like the Giallo horror. I like Giallo horror for their bright colors. I like the color scheme here. I like it when horror has vibrant colors. It's one of those things that I find personally very endearing. It's also very enticing because, good God, modern movies. I hate modern movie color grading. It pisses me off to no end. And it's one of those things that I like. And there are some AAA games that do the same thing, and I hate it. I hate it when modern games do not do bright colors. Doors are locked. There's a large mascot of a cat sitting in the lobby. I forget which one that's. Trash. It's a dumpster. There isn't much else going on down there. I like that this area feels... I think I wanted this level to just be, okay, you're wandering around for a while, and it's creepy, you know? It feels wrong, you know, in every indeterminable sort of way. Oh, you know what? I remember. Hang on. There's a pile of full trash bags next to the trash can. It's almost sickening that someone left it out like this, especially the rancid smell it's giving off. It's disgraceful to leave it here. Do you leave it be? No. Pick up the bags one at a time, being careful not to break any of them. In the last one, you see something catching the light on the top of the bag. Take a letter opener from the trash bag. Feels more like a knife than a letter opener with its handle. Cool. So yeah, you pick up the trash, you get the letter opener. Also, you just walk through this for no reason. Just go for a walk in the woods. I actually like this section because I just like the fact that you can have the flashlight off and just walk around. I like that this looks like a 33 from the side. I don't think I'd even played Expedition 33 before this came. Like, I don't think this would have been... This level wouldn't have been done by that point. It wouldn't have been out by then. That's where the goose is. Goose! Hello. I forgot. It does the little, like, flip. An overturned wheelchair rests next to the path. It appears to have been recently abandoned here. The implications are terrible if amusing. You know what's funny about this? I included this for a specific reason. There's this bit in every Silent Hill game. I don't know why, but every Silent Hill game, for some reason, has, like, after... I think it's after 3 or 4. I think it's after 4. After 4, I think every single one has an overturned wheelchair somewhere in one of the levels. For no reason. It's like, why is there a wheelchair up here? I think in... What was it? In... Oh, God, what was it? I think it's the Wii one. I think the Wii one has... I think the Wii one had, like, a moment where you look... You're on top of a gas station and it's up there, and it's like, why is this here? Who put this up here? Alright, Goose. I'll see you later, buddy. I love that Goose. That's a good guy right there. Up, 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 da, up. Oh, here's the gas station. You know what's funny? I feel like getting this gas station to look right was actually kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. This was actually kind of hard to get to look right. Getting these art assets to play nice was for some reason just a pain in my neck. Oh yeah, Pepe's. Is it Pepe's or Didi's? I don't remember. I think it's Didi's Inconvenience. Oh god. Oh. Hello. Hello, can I help you? You look at the man who's tired of remains sense of politeness. Talk about the weird stand. What's that? Oh, that? Well, the owner ordered a hot dog station. When it arrived, it came with a bunch of Japanese signage. He didn't really feel like changing it out. Something about costs. It certainly is interesting to look at. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, I actually... So, I wanted this gas station stuff. Like this gas station area. I wanted this for one of these shelves for the gas station area. I got this art asset in the same place. Like I bought it from the same place. And I was just like, you know what? Sure, Japanese hot dog stand. Why not? I think it's actually takoyaki, but it kind of feels like the Pokemon, the nothing better than a jelly-filled donut. It kind of feels like that, where it's like, dog, I don't know what it is, but it's a hot dog for me. Now it's a hot dog, whatever. It's kind of funny when I think it's funny when I'm looking at that, like, yeah, man, it's totally a hot dog. Oh boy. Can I help you? It retains a sense of politeness. Not from around here, huh? Well, Victor Street is the longest street in the city. It's also got a bit of a reputation of attracting weird happenings. I don't know, it just seems normal to me. I feel like this guy definitely has seen, like... He definitely saw, like, a 6-armed guy come through here and just like, yeah, whatever, man. It happens. It happens. Car. It's a nice car. Yes, it is. It's a nice car. Yes, it is. The cars. I think the car assets are also one I had a lot of fun with. I also had to mess with the art assets a ton, because for some reason, getting the pixels to line up right with RPG Maker's engine was a pain in my neck. Because getting it to look right was just agonizing. I got it. Eventually, I got it. You know, you can see I got it, but it's like, oh my... Dude. It's like, what am I doing here, man? You know? Just like, what are we doing here? Truly. But in any case, yeah, I've dealt with... Book and comic store, you can see so many books within. Doors are locked up, or what a shame. Oh. Traffic cone. But yeah, I do think that with... I think this game I was working through some stuff, and it was good that I did, but also, man. Another indistinguishable office building, maybe a paper company. I think this one's a reference to The Office. I don't think that one's a reference. I feel like that was just like, I like the idea of doing a paper company. I don't remember. Probably is a reference, though. I think one thing I caught was that I did a lot of references, not because they were necessary, but because people like references. They like knowing things, you know? It really has nothing to do with the references having to mean anything more about the implications. People just like recognizing stuff. Mumbo Fuse Melon Soda. Whoever named that needs to be drug out in the street and shot. That's a double reference. But I think when it came to references, I think it was just that I did a ton of them because of the fact that in my books, I do a ton of references anyway. Funny enough, most of my books have at least like a dozen different, like, written out, oh, this is a little reference and it's kind of bizarre kind of thing. One of the easy ones I do all the time, actually, is I actually do tend to run references to the big one I'm thinking of is whenever I do the organization of a sentence to flow nicely with some sort of reference to like a song lyric, a popular phrasing, or even just a meme. Sometimes it's just like you throw that stuff in, it's really easy to do. I think doing references is probably it feels kind of like doing crowd work in a comedy show, where it's like, yeah, you know, people are going to get these things, and the people who get them are going to be, you know, made. It's like, oh, that's a fun bit, and then it's like, yeah, whatever, man. But old building with wooden siding sits nestled between the modern constructions. A small placard on the door details businesses within. A dentist, a massage therapist, and a psychologist reside here. What a weird combination of individuals. Hi, cat. You only pet that cat. He seems grateful to get attention. What a good creature. But yeah, I think this game, I do apologize for going kind of slow, but I do want to talk about I want to talk about the dev stuff, you know? And I do think that overall, as much as this game has weird stuff going on and a couple of, I would say, mild issues, I would argue that this is probably one of my better written ones. I think in terms of writing, I did a lot of work to work on it, to get it feeling the way I wanted to. The alley is rather dark. You haven't turned on your flashlight yet. It seems odd to walk around the city streets with the flashlight on, but now seems the wise time to turn it on. Find the page conspicuously held down by a metal cap. Certain this is what you're looking for. You can see the remnants of a scuffle just past the page's resting place. You can just see it. Put the second page into your coat pocket. The dim light from the page dissipates as it touches your body. Feel chill run up your spine as you prepare to leave. Another one comes chasing the pages. Excellent, excellent. I will need you to take me to that elusive manor. Those pages are the source. I know it. Maybe you'll find the door I've been seeking. I can't do a good voice for this guy. I think you know what's funny? Recently, in terms of voice actors, I could see giving this guy the voice he needs. I feel like Kellen Goff, you know, he plays Carnage in the Marvel Tokon. I think he would do a good one of this. However many I have to send back in body bags, you may run if you wish, little rabbit. I'll catch you no matter how long it takes. Oh god. I did also notice something about his sound design in particular, actually. Running to the gas station. I ain't dealing with this no more. To the gas station. Cool. Oh. But, funny thing with him, I actually only noticed this as well after like today when I was getting the game ready. I never used anything that isn't available in RPG Maker for that guy's sound design. And it's actually on purpose that I did that, now that I actually look at it. Like, when I look at it, I realize why I did it that way, and other characters get sound design that's not in RPG Maker natively. It's actually specifically because of the fact that he's a hack. Like, the killer in this game, I believe I have his name written down. I'm not going to reveal it right now, because I know it's revealed in-game, but I believe I have it written down. I have too many papers, holy crap. Set those down. Make sure I find his name, because I know that his whole thing is I know his whole deal. I have it written down. I'm not going to explain it all because that would ruin the fun. But also, it is one of those things where I think the storytelling of this character is interesting for me personally. It feels like the kind of thing that was very bizarre. It was very interesting to put together because I think as a character, he's probably one of my more insidious antagonists, frankly. I think he's probably my most... Funny enough, I would actually consider him the most evil person I've made. I think of all the characters I've written, he might be the most evil one. Which sounds kind of, like, intense, but I think that is genuinely, like... I think that's a very real call, in my opinion. And I think that's something that, to me, it feels like, yeah, that's something I wanted to do with this character, but, man, it is definitely something that, it did affect how I wrote the character, too. Yeah, there's his name. I found it. Funny that I gave him such a, like, guy's name is so, like, painfully... His name is remarkably, normal, I would put it. Well, I did that on purpose because the guy is supposed to be... I think, to me, he felt like that kind of... He feels like the kind of person who wants to make horrid art. You know, he wants to make something that's just destructive and not very... It's not about making people feel better, it's about making people angry. Can I help you? Explain there's someone chasing you. That's odd. I don't ever think anyone would be chasing someone around in broad daylight. Yes, what he means. Oh, my mouse is up. Nighttime out there. Are you sure? I'm seeing daylight out there. I don't see anyone waiting out there. Turn your head back out. Seeing outside through the windows is painfully bright. Hey, stay safe. Crowds are scary places to be reckless. It is the second Monday of October, you know. Holiday celebrations. Okay, fun fact about this. I said the second Monday of October to sort of reference a couple different holidays, but it was also because I didn't know what country would be would be the, like, the country of origin for the person playing this. So I just said holiday celebrations, second Monday of October, and just left it at that, you know? German chocolates, Japanese candy side by side. Lovely. Like you blink and stepped into a whole different space. You're on Victor Street, but seems to stepped out from the office near which you found the page. Also daytime, the sun hangs high above the busy street. There's no logical way the door from the gas station could have opened to the street. Oh god, hi. Most concerning of all is the strange shape of the streets. That guy is actually just on some different timing. Can't see the rest of the city. The buildings seem to repeat in a constant pattern out of the horizon. Thousands said the gas station is your exit, but where was the gas station out here? Still out to the west. Hello. Been roped to this game with you, I see. This must be I've finally been chosen. You just take that page tree and find the way out of this place. Of course, all the pleasure of ending your life, you can't escape. Okay, cool. Yep, time to get out. Oh god, the noise! I forgot that it's like, it's genuinely insane hearing all these people walking around. Oh god. It's like you know that one mini game in Super Mario DS, where it's like all the moving faces, and where's the one that you're looking for? Here he is. I forget where he shows up in this section. Oh brother, I forget where he is. Oh clown. That lady's just standing there, just being a creep. Yeah, this level, the whole thing is that, fun fact, he is still chasing, but you don't know where he starts from, so you have to look out for him in the crowd. And this one I made because I realize a lot of people have claustrophobia, and I have fun with that. Hello. Oh, this person says hello, I forgot. Yes, goodbye. Oh god, there he is. Oh god. Forgot, he just shows up like a demon. Forgot about him. Gotta get out of here. There's too many people. Alright, I need to remember that door. Floaty no. Good lord, I forgot how many people are in this place. Good god. Help. You know what's funny? I do know which story what inspired this particular chapter. Besides the fact that I wanted to make something with big crowds, which just felt horrible. There is actually a movie I was thinking about. It was I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think that's the one. It's one of the ones in that series. I pulled from that one as inspiration because I actually really liked the idea of the horror, like a horrifying event happening like 5 feet from safety, but because the person wasn't they're like getting, I think, what was it? It was like some lady, she's getting like stabbed like just out of view, like, and there's like a marching band going by and she was just about to get to safety and then she gets yanked back. Like, it's really it's a horrifying scene, but it's also like it's like particularly horrifying because it's like it's right there, you know? And it's like, man, that's dark. Well, I like the idea though. I think for me it was like when I was writing up the concepts, I was like, oh yeah, I like the idea of this is broad daylight horror, you know? I think broad daylight horror is the hardest to do, you know? So I think that's pretty darn good. And also, it's just fascinating, you know? It's like, stuff's scary, man. Can I help you? Tell him the man is still chasing you. Crowds make you nervous too. You never know who's watching you, and not just glances. You specifically, you know? Remember looking out at crowds and wondering who is safe or not? It's terrifying to wander alone in a busy place when you're sure you're the only one who thinks. The only one who knows no one will help you. You know? Can I help you? Oh yeah, I forgot this guy's just like... He's sitting under the huge the size of your hand outstanding. You know... I shouldn't... I was reminded of this. So... This bit, I know I included this bit with the cookies the size of your hand. In high school, in my high school, they used to sell cookies that were literally the size of your hand. And they were massive. They were the big, they called them the big cookie. That was what you get. And I remember they stopped selling them after, I think it was, I forget what year it was, but I know the joke was that Obama was the reason why we lost them. It was a genuine tragedy those cookies were stopped in terms of production. Like, really? How evil. Large cans. A yellow and red can that looks nuclear and sugar levels. Oh yeah, the bonk energy. Bonk energy. Something called cheesy poos and showed at the calorie count in the bag. I think I just played Fear 1 when I was designing this level or something. Funny that I could remember the cheesy poos reference. That's funny. I feel like I include these references not because it makes the work better, but it feels kind of like, you know, when you have a meal and you have all the various flavors and things that go along in making a comprehensive meal. I feel like part of any meal is dessert, and by extension the empty calories that help kind of cushion the rest of your food. I feel like references are that in writing. You don't include a reference or a little throwaway line somewhere in a game because it makes everything better. It makes it like more healthy. It makes it good writing. You do that because sometimes people, when they're partaking in a full meal, they need a palate cleanser, something sweet. It's kind of like if a video game is a multi-course meal, sometimes you need those little interstitial hors d'oeuvres. You know, those little things that you just eat that's just like, oh, this is nice. And it makes you happy, and it carries you over to the next big thing, you know? And I feel like references are like that. You can't overdo them, but when you do them right, they feel good, you know? Let's see, blinked again, step back through the door again. It seems this game isn't done with you yet. That's how the crowds have grown in density, but the time of day is exactly the same. This is some kind of loop, or are you experiencing multiple days of running through these crowds? So, interesting little tidbit that I will include. So, you see how this guy, he kind of goes through the same loop again? He does that. I did this specifically because I kind of like the idea that he's not fully immune to the page's whims. Because the pages of the Book of Life, at least, you know, as they're done here. Oh god, I forgot it gets dense. Oh, that police officer lady. Don't worry, the streets are perfectly safe. Oh yeah, I forgot. I just made her. She's just pretty. I forgot. She's just pretty. God dang it. Oops. And there's more than one of them. I forgot they duplicate. Multiplication. Californication. Multiplier. Alright. I will say I might run through this part of the level just because I know where I'm going, so I might just zoom. I do apologize. There are some secrets in this level that I haven't shown. Namely, there are 2 shortcuts you can take that take you faster through the areas. I'm not using them, not because they wouldn't be good right now, but because I kind of want players to find them. They're not that hard to find, but it's more about you kind of have to go, instead of taking the direct route, you have to take the indirect route. Ugh. Oh, he was right there. I did not like that. Is this door open yet? It is not. Okay. I need to remember that door for the last round. Oh, God. I forgot that the people multiply. God, there's so many people. This is like my worst nightmare when I'm going out in public, man. It's just like crowds. And it's all office people. You know, I didn't really catch it the first time I did this. I didn't realize how many of these office people are women. Now, we talked about it earlier, that women in horror are an interesting... There's a history there that I am not qualified to go through all the way, but it is fascinating that I'm like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people just in this crowd, and a lot of them... It's weird to me that I made them all women, but... Or at least not all of them, but a lot of them. Intriguing. Taking a moment. Hope everyone's doing good. I do know that this is a bit of a weird time, stream-wise. I hope to make Mondays a regular thing, but I'm going to try them for a few weeks to see how they feel. And if the numbers and the and the games aren't lining up, then it might go back to 3 streams a week, but we'll see. Kind of depends on how things are going. It is going to be my pivot day, kind of like if I can't do more, then we'll see what we do. It does give me a bit more freedom to be able to use Monday nights. I help you tell them the man is still chasing you. Have you tried telling anyone? Can you even speak up about the danger you're in? Or is someone else's words coming before your own? Can't bring yourself to talk at his vacant expression. All you say is someone who isn't listening. Snackson. Looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it's I hope it's the case that it's a usable time frame, but I don't know. You know, it's one of those things where it's like I don't know if it's the case or not, but we'll see. Let's see. Oddly, it seems like the page itself is trying to shake the murder stalker, not you. The man clearly is a part of the game Ichabod had planned. He seems to not remember any of the loops he went through. The game seems to be using him as part of the game rather than letting him participate as a player. Escaping one more time may finish the page. Imagine that you avoid this man. Crowds have grown again. It'll be difficult to avoid him this time. Been roped to this game with you, I see. It must means I finally chosen. Means more channel points for me. Because that happens. I think it's funny when it's like it's. I feel like with that sort of thing in mind, it's just very funny to think about like, oh yeah, it's the channel points. That's what we're here for. It's like, yes, of course, understood. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I also don't run into him on accident, because I know for a fact that if he catches me off guard, I will be... You know, I should save my game while I'm thinking about that. It just occurred to me, I absolutely could get caught off guard like that. That was right. It's truly the truest reason for me to do more streams, more channel points. Oh god. Yeah, I think this is the part I have something I need to do in this section. We're gonna zoom. Whee! Alright, we're gonna go this way. I think if I go up and over, I think I'll be fine. Oh, that's right. This is when the faceless people start showing up. I forgot about them. Oh god. Damn it. Trying to zoom. Here it is. You know what's weird about this room in particular is that I don't know why I did this. I have no, like... I don't think I have any, like, particular... I don't think I have a particular, like, oh, I could tell you why I was thinking about this. For some reason, this room just came to be. And for some reason, it just feels like the most perturbing place to stay in. It just feels wrong. I don't know. Something about this whole place feels wrong. And I don't think I could tell you with any real certainty why I designed it this way, but it did happen. Here's the menorah. Well, okay, I think I can run to the gas station now. I'm gonna make a note that I'll have some stuff to do after stream, I think. I don't know if I'm going to go full 4 hours today, because I wanted to do this. I want to do... How many notes have I made? Just 3. Let's see. Yeah, just 3. Like 3.5, kind of. Wonder if he's even listening, if there's a person at all behind that face. Felt something odd after you left 5 minutes ago, like someone was standing on my grave, you know? That's what it means. You count that you came in here before. No? You came in once, left, but you just got back. I figured you dropped your wallet or something. Maybe you... Well, either way, it might be best you get back home. Sounds like you've had a long day. I like this guy. Hey, take a candy bar on me. Sometimes we just need a little pick-me-up, you know? Receive Choco Block. Please, have a good night. I forgot, this guy is just cool. I like him, he's nice. But I made a couple notes. I am probably gonna... What I might do is end stream an hour early. I'll spend some time doing the fixes I want. Like, I'll do them off-stream just so I can curse at myself for later. And then... I think what I'll do is I might have them update. I might send the update up tonight just so I can check it out myself. Open the door and blink, finding your steps hitting wood instead of concrete. You're back in the manor despite having just been in the gas station. Relief slowly washes over you. Chase is over for now. Hello. And here you are. Crowds are a strange thing indeed. So many eyes hit no one sees a thing. Makes for a rather impressive smokescreen for the conniving. Seeing you took time to enjoy the sights on Victor Street, marvelous. Tell about the strange man who pursued you, peculiar. Intended for someone to pursue you here, yes, but not someone of such pathetic description. Well, it seems to serve to heighten the stakes of your game. Perhaps it will be an interesting addition to your experience. Good luck with that. Goodbye for now. Did I think I did everything right. Shelves dedicated to cookbooks of various styles. Some are yellow and withered, some seem brand new. University level textbooks. Oh. Mahogany. One book has a handwritten title. Tips to Surviving Horrifying Games, Volume 2 by D. Mickey. Come to a random page. Some creatures and objects can kill you instantly. However, unless it chases you, you likely know if something is risky. Volume 1 by D. Mickey. Come to a random page. Save your progress often. Whether it's play or work, saving things can mean all the difference. Okay, so the unlockable thing here... funny thing, the unlockable thing here is actually a set of random... It's actually a semi-random set of, like, tips for that the game will get, that the game needs. Now, like, basically, it can kind of tell you about certain things that might happen later. Random page, some objects, creatures, yeah, the kill you instantly note. Random page, be nice to animals, you won't get it anywhere, aggravating nature. So, funny thing, this one's also, some of these notes are also specific tips for how to get the, I don't want to say true ending, but the, like, not sure if you mentioned the 2-hour mark already. I've not mentioned the 2-hour mark, but I did mention the 1-hour mark. But in any case, I was just like, it was just funny because I was thinking about, I think this particular thing, I was thinking that it'd be fun to include a little, something like this. The right-hand rule helps solve mazes. Stay to the right and follow the wall. Eventually you'll make it out. Some of these are also just general tips for getting through the game, frankly. So, a lot of little stuff. I think I will spend tonight just updating the game just to work on it. But... also, because it'll give me something to... I'll sit and do some stuff for this, because I think that'd be nice for me. But, yeah, no, it's just like... I feel like when it comes to this game, I think something I've kind of come around to is that it is, I think, more personal for me. I think the themes of it are more personal for me, like, in terms of, like, the... what I had to grapple with to really understand what I was doing with it. And now looking at it, I think I'm quite proud of it. I was proud of it before, but I think now that I look at it more and I understand what, like, how much I was dealing with while I was working on it and still being able to make something pretty good. I say pretty good as if it's like, it's a great horror game. But it's just like, I had to do my best. And I think with RPG Maker in particular, since I prefer the stylings of RPG Maker itself, I find that some people find that to be less agreeable. I think RPG Maker's base art style for some people can be a little bit like of a turnoff, as it were. That sounds weird to say as a turnoff, but I think it's the best way to describe it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it's for some people this really is like, oh yeah, this I wouldn't want to deal with that. This one. I'll tell someone with an arrow drawn on it. I don't remember which one this one is. I don't remember which one that is, actually. I don't remember which... I'm trying to remember which level is which. And I don't really recall off the top of my head where I'm supposed to go next. I'm tempted to open up the project just so I can double check which number I'm supposed to go to next. Oh my god, I'd like to say it was one up here, right? The game room. I know at minimum I'm supposed to go to the kitchen first. I say the kitchen. I know the kitchen and the sound room have to come first, so... dining room, small talisman with a sword drawn on it. I think that one's the Ren Fair. I think that one's the Ren Fair. I think this one might be the hotel. Mobius strip. Yeah, I think this one... I'd like to say this one's... oh man, I think both of these are correct. I don't know which one is... chat, which one are we going for? Do we want to go with the Mobius strip or the sword? I'm trying to think, which one is which? I think the Mobius strip is the hotel. And I think the sword is the Ren Fair. I know that both of them would be safe to do. I'm just trying to remember which one. I don't know which one, but if chat wants to choose, I I would be more than happy to... If we're doing an hour a level, I think if we do one more level, which will be, I think, a solid show point. But in any case, I think I've come around to this game. I think part of my initial aversion is the fact that I had to, like I said, I think I had to grapple with a lot of stuff personally that made making this game, and by extension playing it over and over again, kind of, I don't want to say painful, but it definitely made it a little less... It made it less a thing I was trying to actively do all the time. With Red Genie, it's like, oh, I want to make a fun role-playing game and I want to do this cool stuff. And that was, and it still has a pretty meaningful story, but I don't think I think it's more about the indomitable human spirit than it is. Let's see. Anything from chat? Not sure. I'll just, you know what, let's... I'm gonna wait until the weird guitar part comes on. Okay, we're doing sword. All right, which one's this one? Sword. Which one is sword? Oh, it's the Ren Fair. Oh, I have to do this one. Guys, take a moment to adjust from the dark of the manor to the sudden change in scenery. You're stepping into the dining room and now you're here. Scuff your foot on the stone of the ground beneath you. Turning your head, you see a sign on the wall to your right. Prepare yourself. Seasonal haunted castle is open now. Beware the dungeon dark and face your fears. But the castle behind you is currently a seasonal haunted house. You realize the small talisman is tied to your wrist by a thin red string. It seeks on the throne of the castle. Though the Renaissance Fair is closed until the morning, you may need to find the keys to the castle first. Be careful, even old places can turn up new perspectives. There's value in the past. Signed by Ichabod. Game is on. I actually really like this level. This one I spent the most time in because it has one of the most temperamental chases in all of the game, and I had to spend so much time getting it right. It made me mad. Ground feels strangely... Oh, right, crap, I forgot. I just realized I'm not playtesting. Yep, okay, I did that on accident. That's on me. So, speedrunner strat, if you don't want to have to go doing the treasure hunt, which you can do, there is a whole treasure hunt that you can find in one of the areas you need to go anyway. The big side quest of this is... Oh my god, why did I do that? There's a whole side quest, and you can actually follow the clues. There is actually... I'm going to try... I think I can find the clues still. Find a replica sword. It's wrapped in a plastic bag. Thankfully, you look it over. It's surprisingly well made. Sorry for all the running around. Here's your prize. Don't forget to rate our scavenger hunt game 5 stars. You wonder if this counts as stealing. So you get, in items, you have... It's not a weapon. It's not something you can actually use. But you do get the phonics sword. Plastic replica of a sword from a famed video game. This was my Tales of the Abyss reference. I was going to include something like that because, of course... Of course I would. I'm trying to remember where the scavenger quest begins. You can still trigger all of the map things even if you don't... Oh god, I'm trying to remember the order you need to go in. Oh god, I'm gonna be running around here for a while. Also, I guess secondary fun fact, this castle's design is pulled from somewhere else. This is the castle built. It's the modified version of the castle from, I believe, RPG Maker's default castle layout is this, and then I modified it. It's similar to the modified version I made in Red Genie. So I worked with this one. I got to use so much of the Red Genie assets again because I was able to pull so many of them for this. Hello, Fox. Cat's up there too. Funny thing about this, I see how these signs, there's no doors here. There's a specific reason for this, and it's very silly. I had the logic of, well, you can't see the doors from the side, because if you're walking this way, the doors would logically be right here, right? I can't build the whole place like an RPG town and put the doors all facing to the front. Also because I'm not gonna do all that. Doors unfortunately locked. So the door says Daymore Mansion and advertised souvenirs. You feel nostalgic just standing here. I need to check some stuff later. Not gonna lie. You can check here for door into this building is locked. Fabled housing. It's just recreation of a fantasy stories house. Can't see inside. Shame. Ah, here it is. Ooh. Find a key among the books on the shelf. This is the only one tagged for anything. It says castle doors. There's also tags left nearby that say castle second floor and throne room. You'll see a note left underneath the tags. Need to get the tags on the keys again. Someone's journal. The back cover is wreathed in rhinestones. Do you wish to read it? Page. My parents put me in charge of the Renaissance Fair this year. They also got me in contact with the vendors for the year. They want me to learn how to handle the business myself. Also met up with Mr. Zip today. He's the one who suggested the horror theme for the castle. We have two different pathways, one up and down to the castle. We can't have something too scary in the main halls, so we set up a route through the halls and one downstairs. Made some props for the main floor, just some pop-up things. We also turned off the lights in the main halls for it. Zip set up the scary level, the basement level, but I think he made it too scary. It's too quiet down there, and his props are pretty intense. Can't even walk through the whole thing myself, but it has attracted a lot of people, so it's okay. Jeff and Wallace aren't sure about Zip, though. Just something about how he gives everyone the creeps. Maybe they're just still upset my parents bought the land. Zip is just a scapegoat because he looks odd. Just a little pale, nothing so serious. You aren't sure how someone can actually have a name like Zip. This Sarah lady's rather naive. Why they want a haunted house attraction here? Because nothing says you're doing a good thing with land like a seasonal haunted house. Ugh, beautiful. But also with all that dialogue, one of the things I did, I actually didn't carve do the locomotion on the side like railroad motion. Oh, I forgot about that. See, someone carved do the locomotion on the side like a railroad motion. Why did I write that? It's so silly, man. Get an update. Well, after stream, I'm gonna be messing with this, and I'm gonna get this looking. I'm gonna update the game. I'm gonna update Madman's dice. So, if anybody wants to play the game after I update it, they will have some new stuff to. They'll have some little fixes to see. I might add. Maybe I'll add one or two little things just so there's some more stuff for fun. Might as well. And I did some writing today. I passed another big number milestone, so that's good. Moist down there. Cover the barrel doesn't move at all. You find a latch on the rim, the side close to the wall. Within the barrel, instead of open space, is a solid wooden box. Another treasure map. The bridge to your right when on the castle grounds. Check near the fence for your prize. I just realized this is the last one you need to find. Where the heck are the other two? I'm now realizing I don't even know where the puzzle where it starts and ends. Holy crap. But I did get some good writing today. I had to work through for some reason I was like oddly anxious all day. I don't know what the deal was. How's the writing going? How's the story unfolding? It's going good. I think if I put the pedal to the metal, I think I'll be able to get what I want to have happen is that if I can finish the first draft, if I can finish the first draft in its entirety before the middle of September, and I can have it out and I can have it reviewed before October, my hope would be to have the book. I want the book out in October. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see, you know. Full draft in December. Work. He is left. It's also comically large for a door key. Even just glancing those, get the sense of person here like angry. I get the pink house of the cosplayer pit. How come the new girl gets some Angelines in the castle? It's just fair sucks. I hate it here. Well, thankfully it's not your problem to solve. Got the key. Which key is this one again? I actually forget which one. Item, throne room key. Oh, that's the throne room key. That's right. But yeah, there's some I have gotten a fair bit of writing done. I think most of my... Funny enough, that should be... I should probably adjust that. But I think a lot of the lovely flowers, you don't want to hurt these. Oh, that's nice. I forgot. Every adventure starts from home. The view to the forest is picturesque from here. That's nice. But my hope is that's the case. It's been a couple months, but... Because here's the thing. With my first couple books, it was like... But my first couple books, it took me like 3 to 4 months to finish entirely. Like I would go from starting the book to final draft within a couple months. And that's what I used to do pretty often. This book has been just a lot harder for me to write. I do think I'm going to go back to writing. I think unless this book is like a genuinely like thunderous success in terms of, hi, there's a thing back there. I think unless this book is a thunderous success and like is beyond anything, it's the will they won't they, don't, right? Yeah. Well, it's a romance novel, at least my version of romance novel, which who knows if people are going to be down for that. We'll see. But it feels kind of like in writing this book, I have done so much extra work to figure it all out, you know? And yeah, I think this one, I feel like I'm going to go back to writing fantasy and sci-fi after I'm done with this, because I feel like I like this book well enough, but man, it is so much harder to do for me personally. I think writing this sort of stuff is a lot harder for me personally. But if I can get it, I'll be happy. Five to the right, four down. Why is it harder? I think a lot of it's because it's a lot of dialogue, you know? I think that's a big part of it, is that it's a lot of dialogue, you know? And I think when you have to do a lot of dialogue, it is a lot harder, you know? What did it say? Realize, does it say what? Oh, oh crap. I didn't read. Daisy. And then he said, then she said. Well, it's like you can't just do he said. You can't literally do he said, she said, because people get tired of reading the word said a million times. I don't agree with the fact that you never use it, but I do think that if you constantly say he says, she says, they say, you know, whatever, it's tired. It gets tired really fast. 5, 1, 2, 3. What is it? I'm trying to remember where the thing was. Yeah, whatever. I already have the item, so it's not that big a deal, but... Oh no, don't tell me this isn't... Interesting. Then again, I don't think... You check that later. Let's see one of the keys mentioned on the note you found. You tucked the key away. Notebook sits on the table, props slightly open. Do you wish to read it? Recited told the old fantasy castle into haunted house is a moron. It's a piece of history. Now it's a cheap carnival ride. No, Sarah didn't come with that herself. It is. It's my grandmother word to land. Sarah doesn't have the same respect for the grounds like her parents. Forgot I wrote all this. But it's funny when it's like... It's funny because when I wrote up all the dialogue for this game, I feel like I really wanted people to put like spins on it themselves. Is the peak of tension in the middle, more the end? See, I think the thing is like, the thing I have found is that each chapter should have its own. It should follow, like, to me, it's either the 3-beat structure or the 4-beat structure as found in like Japanese storytelling. I like the idea that if you're going to do tension, it should be one of those things where you have this overarching like question of will these two people figure themselves out and, you know, get together. And the other thing you really want also is each chapter should have a problem to solve, you know? Like, hey, like the chapter I'm writing right now, it's like, okay, there's a new addition to the particular dynamics that are happening here. Okay, how do we handle the addition to these dynamics, right? And that's not an easy, you know, like easy question to answer. So it's like, okay, how do you go through that? Thinking of Freytag's pyramid. Freytag's pyramid? Doors remain sensibly shut, but the walls feel much too close to the dark. Feel drafted from somewhere along your ankle, sending you chill through, like 3-act structure. Well, it's like, generally in stories, you want to have you want your 3-act structure, but the big thing in particular is that you really want, when you're putting together a book, the main thing is that you want each chapter to feel like a complete section of the story. It shouldn't be like you just like it should, if you do your story well enough, your readers will be dragged through chapter to chapter to chapter because they want to know what's happening in the overarching story. But each chapter should be satisfying enough that if they only have time to read one chapter, they still get a satisfying amount of, you know, startup, twist, you know, intrigue, conclusion within a chapter. And I think that's necessary too for like a reader to get everything out of like the book, you know. It's like, and by extension, like I would say, like in every story. I love that. I love that one so much. Climb the stairwell to find the hallways darker than below. The darkness climbs along the flaking bricks into deep corners. You can see electrolytes are attached haphazardly to the ceiling. They'll be a death trap to touch. Hear no sound beside your footsteps. But yeah, it's one of those things where I find personally, I find that there's a certain amount of power in having your... Oh, here we go. Okay. You need to make a note on... I don't think I need to right now. I forgot these statues are just like... These look antique, not as new as the ones downstairs. Here it is. Alright, I'm gonna pause for a moment because there's an ad break. Are you close to the denouement? Well, it's like... Here's the thing. I don't know if I would call it a denouement because... I think the thing I wanted to do with this is it's kind of like... I want the book to feel like it ends on a 7th chord. I want it to feel like it's resolved, but I don't want it to feel like it's fully ends, you know? I think that's the thing, the feeling I want to capture. But also, I don't, like, here's the thing. I've been working on this book for a while now, and I think the biggest problem I've had, like, I'm close, I'm getting there, but it's just like, it's, the tough thing I've had with this particular book has been like, with every conversation, it feels like I'm fighting constantly to try and get it to feel right. Because when I write, when I wrote Madman's Dice, when I've written every book I've done, it wasn't enough for me to make good dialogue, to do good stuff. I can have typos. Typos happen. But for me, it's like the grand majority of what I write, it has to be right. I will say finding any issues in the writing, like, drives me up the wall. But for me personally, it's like, when I'm working on something, it has to be the feeling I'm going for and the thing I'm making has to feel right regardless. It has to be right regardless of how many takes it takes to get there, you know? And when I've been working on, when I worked on this, it was like, yeah, I'm going to sit there and agonize over the descriptions for a while. But after I found a particular, like, I forgot. Not too close to be outside, you echo further than any sound could possibly travel. Deep long darkness crawls along your spine. You're unsure what it is that stalks within the shadows. Time to go, you have one surely. So, remember when I said that I grabbed some sound design from Fear and Hunger? I found out that those sounds are open to open source. You have to reference them, but it's like you have to make sure they're in your... So in this game's files, there is a document that is a text file that says, hey, here's all the sounds that were included in this game. And I made sure to credit all of the ones I used, and this particular sound... Oof. Eyes cast outwards, finding nothing but an unnatural darkness. You look for the early morning light from before. Nothing but the black of night greets you. You weren't certain when you arrived. This could be real, but how could one rationalize the sky darkening like this? You'll indeed need to get out of this castle. Oof. I love this part so much. It's just so creepy. I love it. Also, yeah, the sound. Funny enough, the actual sound is called Footsteps from Beyond. The person who made the sound called it that, and I really like that. Very cool. the freaking clown. I forgot it can appear behind you when you're running through. Let's say, sign detailing different paths. Please wait ahead for the spooky castle walk. Please go downstairs for the darkness depths. Leave. Doors are locked again. You search for the keyhole. Where is it? Yeah, that's right. There's no keyhole. There is. You are mistaken. That had to have come from the basement door. What choice do you have now? Brother. This basement door is locked. Exit. Yeah, you have to go into the entrance. Yes. Close to the ad break. Step in the stairwell, watching the darkness for signs of life. Whoever knocked on the door isn't here now. There's the shadows twist and bend along your eyes. The light, your only solace. The basement waits. Alright, I'm gonna pause for a moment. The ad break's coming up. I'm gonna pause for a moment just so I can sit and talk, but yeah, I think this level, it's funny. I worked with the idea that I just wanted to make a Ren Fair level. I like the idea of Ren Fairs after dark. It feels a bit like a liminal space. You know, you enter the grounds of a Ren Fair when nobody's there. I think that's creepy. It feels weird, you know? It's like there's supposed to be people here. Feels like the kind of place that cryptids and fae would hang out with, you know? Just sitting around, being weird. But I would also say that the fun thing for me was also that I like the idea of using this for my dark fantasy horror stuff. I like that. That's fun. And also castle settings. I like that. That's fun. But I spent a fair bit of time trying to get this to feel right. You know, just wanting to make the place feel creepy in that you're not supposed to be here vibes, less than explicitly going for... With a lot of these levels, I wanted to go for that creeping feeling when you're in a place you're not supposed to be. Or when you're in a place and you're lingering too long. Like the backrooms feeling, you know, that liminal space. In the case of, like, the one I think this hits the most is the hotel level. Because I think hotels have an inherent amount of creepiness to them that comes with the fact that you're in a space that is constantly being inundated with new people. And I think that can feel very odd, you know? Also, it also can be kind of creepy. It can be creepy to walk around in a place where you're not sure if you're allowed to be somewhere, you know? Oh yeah, the long stairwells. You know what I can definitely tell? This is after... This game was definitely made post Silent Hill 2. Definitely post Silent Hill 2 when I played this one. Oh yeah, hello. Model of a werewolf. The eyes are exceptionally realistic. Ain't that cool? Ain't that something? Broken statue of some kind of demon. You can spot that it's just painted foam. Oh, painted foam. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, brother. Like so walking next to the shelf with an elderly person's home. You see tape markings on the floor for a scare actor to wait on. Yeah, this one, I was also inspired a bit by a lot of the haunted houses I've seen. You know, the haunted walks that I've seen. And I've been on a few. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of how they're organized at times, because sometimes they can be a little bit dicey, but they are fun. I think they can be really fun, especially the ones that are well curated. I think it can be quite good. Up. Well, after walking through this first section, suppose the dark depths is awful. Too reliant on scare actors and lots of empty halls. Without anyone here, it's not great. Crates and statues and curtains. Wow. Ichabod really said you ought to partake in the worst haunted house ever. Maybe there's more to this than cheap jumps in a basement. There is a strange taste of dust to the air, however. Oh yeah, the prop skeleton. You can tell because of the stickers on the heels. They must not expect anyone to stop and stand here. That you're some kind of demon, you aren't sure what you're looking at. Pile of rocks. They seem to be discarded parts of broken statues. Arms, legs, arm pieces all laid to rest. Yep. Ooh, spooky. I like that this one, it's like, it also is kind of poking fun at the broken clock. It could be right twice a day at most. I like that this level also feels a bit like, yeah, this is what it feels like when you're walking through a haunted house, though, like, when it's empty, because it is just kind of like a haunted house that's just empty isn't really, you know, there's not a whole lot going on, you know? God, it turns red. Eh. Oh yeah, there's the pathway here. Forget, does it, like, what is it? What did I do for this section? Is it like you go through the whole arrow section and then it's, yeah, it's blocked off. That's right. That's right. I remember. Yep, you have to go this way. The wall behind you is completely broken down in this tunnel. Now you see into a rocky bypass. The jagged stone and uneven floor give way to the earth. It doesn't seem quite right. Dust is even thicker down here. Yeah, there's like caves. I think this is the one that Galaxy would have been really not having fun with, because it's just like tight in caves. I think with a lot of the horror I've worked with in this game, especially these first couple levels, I'm pulling from sources of inspiration from a lot of the horror movies I got to watch as I was going through life. This one was definitely from The Descent, and I know it's not a game that would have inspired this at this point, but it would have definitely been something I would have thought about if I had seen it before this point. When I played Subsumed on stream, I think this would have been one. It would definitely would have affected this game if I had played it before this point. Because oh my god, Subsumed is so good for this kind of horror, for like that you're close in a cave and it's like ugh. The claustrophobia, ugh. Not of a werewolf, the eyes are exceptionally realistic. Yes, another one. Yes, behold. You see a deep light below. If the exits are blocked here, this may be only one way forward. Your eyes adjust to the light, seeing pathways ahead, but why does it feel so warm? Alright, we're gonna get to that in a moment, but I'm trying to remember. Is there something back here? Ah, the menorah. Why is it here? Do you wish to light its candles? The menorah! I almost forgot. It's at the end of the hallway. The descent. Well, the descent is in going down, not the descent is in I disagree. Cross from within the walls to the castle to this. Before you lies smelter heat, genuine magma. Certainly there's no way magma could even be in a place like this, but the heat and light is genuine. The heat makes your body ache with the licks of flame-kissed air. What sort of wizardry is this? But the descent is actually a rather horrifying... It's probably one of the scariest horror movies ever, and that's before the monsters even show up. Like, there are monsters in the movie, but most of the horror is just, hey, do you want to go caving? Do you want to see someone almost get crushed to death by rocks? Like, no thanks, man. I choose life. I'm good. God, I forgot how bright I made this room. Look at the reds on that one. God, I forgot. Oh yeah, okay, this particular section right here. This was not like a 100% purposeful lighting angle thing, but I love the way this lighting came out. It looks so sick. Like, look at that. Look at those angles. Look at those colors. It looks so good. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite bits. Funnel head slopes down to just above your head. The walls are just far enough apart enough for you to fit. Your eyes focus on the slowly constricting shape of the walls, like the sides of a waiting beast wishing to choke the life out of you. Your eyes slowly focus on the dark, but the darkness offers no reprieve. Nothing's moving away from you, only closer and tight to your chest. Yep. This is the claustrophobia room. God, I forgot about that. Ooh. I think that one I could probably fix up a little. Oof. Man, I think the lighting in this section might be some of my favorite. It's so freaking cool. And section. I'll walk forward. Your eyes set on the darkness, the walls shrink inwards, the darkness closes in. Breathing is quickening. Oh yeah, I forgot. I try to pull, like, literally try to make you read this stuff and make you make the player nervous. I make the screen darker. Make the screen darker. Darkness closes in. I love the descriptions I wrote here. Darkness closes in. The walls are closing in. You don't know that you can escape. Your legs begin to shake with a crushing weight of darkness. Yep, I just get creepy. This itself is closing in. Oh yeah. Your mind snaps to attention. Danger, unseen, pulling you from the void. Your mind races, catching back up to your body's reactions. Feel the heat of the blood in your hands. Heart is pounding. Pulse rebounding off the sides of your skull. Breathing catches up now, driven by focus and intent as you look forward. Taking a deep breath, balance in your body regained, if but momentarily. Feel the caves moving in and out, the walls and edges pulsating with your heartbeat. Oh yeah, the blue. See a strange light at the end of the darkness finally visible. The light feels just as alien as the void you stand within. The existence of such bizarre places so deep beneath you. There is like winter's hands along your back. I like that also we go from hot to cold and light to dark. Air feels as cold as a winter's night to the skin. You pull your clothes tight to the frigid mists urge you to move forward. Frigid is my favorite word, by the way. It describes cold that I don't think you could really get otherwise. It's a very specific kind of cold, you know? I really like the way that it feels when you describe frigid. Very, very cool. Okay, time to see if this chase works. It's been building up this whole time with the werewolf. See if it happens. Realize you aren't alone anymore. Your breath quickens as you watch the beast stalk closer. Its eyes familiar, too familiar. The beast of the night, the darkness made manifest. It slavers with monstrous hunger as it wipes small large at once. Then it speaks. I almost forgot. Gotta go. Oh god. Is he? I really. All right, buddy. We're doing this. We're doing this run again. It's been a little bit. Been a while since I've raced you, buddy. Let's see if we can. If I can keep up. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I forgot. God. Keep moving. My brain. All of my adrenaline suddenly kicked on. I was like, oh god. Oh, there he goes. Yep, he's coming. Okay, he's if I slow down, he's gonna catch me for sure. So I'm gonna keep moving. It's good. Okay. As it glance back from seeing the beast slowly slinking back in the dark, you escape for now. Looking forward, you can take in the scale of the caverns you stand in. You know what's funny? If you don't know the, here's the thing: if you don't know the that chase, I feel like that's gonna be a much harder one to finish. I only know that one because I ran that particular race so many times trying to get him to finish the run to chase you. The thing is, I think if you don't know if you don't know where you're going, I feel like that chase is much closer because of the fact that you probably will end up making mistakes, and by extension, you will have to learn the path. And he will be much closer on you. If he's within a couple blocks of you, he doesn't lose his tracking at all. And that's something that is very hard to get down in a playtest when you know everything. Let's see. I'm sorry I'm not reading the descriptions anymore. I'm like, I do want to finish the level before stream has to end. Let me find. I know there's actually a second menorah in this level, which I do have a fun fact about the menorahs. I included more than you need to finish to get like the true to like get the bonus finish. It's not actually a true ending per se, but it's more like, it's like by doing everything the game has to offer and finding all of the secrets, you are able to see an extra scene that would happen anyway, but by doing everything the game has to offer, well, it wouldn't happen if you don't do everything, but basically it's just, if you want to see a bonus scene, you have to do everything. And it is the ending that ends all endings when it comes to the game. So, it is, if you wish to see everything the game has to offer, you have to find everything in the game. Which I think also is part of what I want to do with this game, is that I wanted to leave secrets. I want to leave secrets for, I want more people to find the secrets themselves, you know? I think playing this representation of the game, you know, three levels of the game, is enough, I think, to showcase what the game has been doing. And I'm going to update it, so if you're watching this VOD later and you're seeing this game, if you're seeing this later, you're probably going to find out that, oh yeah, this is like, this is going to get updated, so there's going to be some stuff adjusted. I forgot about this part, I'm not going to lie, Doug. Forgot about this part, dude. I think I could just run straight by. I think this is another part that had, this part also had some glitches I had to work out. I think the Ren Fair level probably had the most number of glitches by volume compared to every other part of the game. And I don't even think it's close. It seems dense enough to keep you hidden. God, I forgot this part. It's kind of disturbing. Forgot that. Bye. Bye, run by, run by. Okay, there we go. I genuinely forget if this part stealth-wise. I forget how to do this part, I'm not gonna lie. I know there's a part with the phonics sword. That's just the only place you could see you could hide now. Oh my god, the light turned on after. That's messed up. Oh god. Screwed that up so badly. Pressing buttons when I'm not supposed to. Hello, sir. What are we doing? We out here? I don't know what his pathing is anymore. Good. Forget what his pathing is. I'm not gonna lie, dude. His pathing is so weird to me. I don't know what it is either. Okay, there we go. James is getting frustrated with this game of hide and seek. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna show this off because it is something that's nice. If you do the treasure hunt, you can use the replica sword to move this out of the way. So you can move that out of the way and step through the darkness into a familiar setting. It's the basement, the real one, it seems. The ceiling did indeed collapse, but the wall behind you is just brick. Eyes focus on the wall, passageway behind you completely missing. Remember the voice now. Always one similar to it. The dragon from the library. Something left for you to do now. Get out of here. Lifelike figure of a goblin is indeed a fake. Bing bong. All right. I feel like what I learned most from this was I learned a lot about the expectation. I feel like I learned a lot about what... I feel like I learned a lot about my own writing and also and how to wield it for games like this. It's one of those things where I feel like, whoa, very different to write game. Whoa, hi. How wonderful. You seem dusty. Did you enjoy your time at the Renaissance Fair? I haven't had the time to go out in some time. Castle out on the Claymore Hills is quite a marvel. And you acquired a souvenir. It seems to be in rough shape. I will fix it for you later if you wish. Oh, the strange haunted house in the basement. Oh, that's surprising. The keys don't tend to dabble in horror themselves. I just turned their cobweb quarters into places for games. Well, I'll need to make a call. Goodbye for now. Forget, what is the kitchen? I know the kitchen's part of a scene you can do later. Also, I believe now you can access the storage room. Not yet, that's right, because the storage room, other side. You need to do the kitchen first. With the dining room and kitchen together, you can do some scenes, though. You can make... I think later, after you finish enough stories, you can make yourself food. And you get a nice little scene. That's nice. Alright, I'm gonna stay in this area because I think this is a good spot to sit and talk. I feel very happy with how this game turned out, realistically. And I also was pretty happy with... here's the thing. There are little things. I don't even know if they're bugs or typos. It's just me being like, oh, was this on purpose or was it not? And I have to interrogate myself as to whether or not I should change things about the game. But I think doing so a year later feels odd, just because even over the course of 1 year in a human life, so much changes, you know? And I think maybe that's why I don't go back and change many of my games often. You know, like with Red Genie, it's been complete for years, you know? And I think that's because... from my perspective, when I look at my own work, especially even my games, like, it's almost an act of rebellion now to look at my own games and say, this doesn't need constant updating. It is a finished thing. You know, like when a game goes to print on a disc, it should be finished, you know? Like when I look back at my wall of PS3 games back there, they all came out finished. And yeah, some of them got DLC later, but when you open the game and you put the disc in, that game should be done. I know the modern idea is that, oh, well, this game needs to have a lifespan of years and it needs to constantly stay in the zeitgeist, but I don't think that's what I want to make. You know, I want to make a game that it by itself should be affecting the player, and it should, by extension, it will live with them if the game is good enough to live with them. You know, if it catches someone's attention and they really like it, they're going to play it over and over again. There are some games that I know that have been played ad nauseum for decades now. Final Fantasy X is a great example. It has not gotten new updates in 20 years, but people love Final Fantasy X. People love Tales of the Abyss. People love, hell, the Pokemon series. People go back to play Generation 3 all the time. Those games aren't getting updated. It's that the conversations around them change and morph as the years go by. And I want to make games that people can come back to, and they are the same as they were, 2 or 3 or 5 years ago. When Red Genie came out, it's like, yeah, it came out. It's how it is. It's gone through some price reductions, but it's the same game. And if somebody comes back to it, if God forbid somebody ever says that Red Genie is their favorite game, I would cry. But if someone plays it and they go back to play it 5 years later and it's the same game, I want that to be the thing. Because I think for me personally, I want my games to be like artifacts that don't change, that are preserved over time. Whereas some games are meant to grow and change with their players, because that's the point. Like MMOs, we played Elsword yesterday. Or like games that have constant changes. Like, I would say Fortnite's a great example. The history of Fortnite's tapestry of inclusions and IPs, that sort of stuff naturally leads to the game being this ever-changing history. But when it comes to single-player games, and by extension, those experiences that are made in their time and are like a time capsule of the team who made it, those things, I think, are a valued piece of the ecosystem of gaming, and I want to make those. Also because it lets me experiment with genre. The next one I want to do, the idea is actually shifted. I was originally going to do a detective game only and make it a stealth and add some horror elements to it. But I really actually liked the idea more of designing something like, can keep those detective elements in, but I want to do a boomer shooter. I want to do an FPS game. And I think me doing an FPS game feels fun. I want to do that because that sounds like a fun genre for me to branch out to. And for some people that might sound weird, but it's like, I grew up in high school. I played a lot of single player first person games, and my brother did too. We both played a lot of these boomer shooters, sort of like Doom and Wolfenstein, the old Doom and old Wolfenstein. I like because that genre was built on, they were called Doom clones back in the day, right? And I like the idea of those fast adrenaline pumping shooter games. There's actually a game that's a modern interpretation of the idea. It's called Trepang. I played it on stream in my first year and it was really good. I think something like that is what I want to do, where it's like this high octane action and, like not high, maybe not super high, but like I want the fast, intense action. And then I want to match it with, hey, here's a monster you can't just shoot to kill. You have to evade. And I like the idea of doing like racing. It's actually, I'm pulling from Sonic Roboblast 2 when you race Metal Sonic. I like that idea of you have to avoid this creature and, combination of stealth, of evasion, of pure running. I like that. That's the stuff I like. And I want to put those elements into one game, but when that game comes out, I might do some updates to fix some things. But when it's done, I'm probably not going to update it more. It's going to be like, oh, maybe I'll go back. I think the only thing I should need to update for some games really will be if there's like compatibility issues. If somebody says, hey, this game doesn't run anymore on my system, it's like, oh, let me make a new version of the game, with RPG Maker, reprint it, put it out again, see if it works. That's the only stuff I really want to do. Otherwise, I kind of prefer it if my games, most part, I do my bug fixing, and if there's some little updates I need, I'll do that. But otherwise, I shouldn't need to. I like the idea of the game being a finished thing. It's finished. It's good. And I think that's because when it comes to books, when it comes to class assignments, when it comes to anything I've ever done, there was always a finish product. There's an end of it. The running part sounds like Metroid Dread in a way. Yeah, I like the Emmys. Yeah. Also, Namaha, how's it going? Hope all's good. I am gonna end. I will confess, I'm gonna sit and talk for a while, but I think I'm gonna end stream not super soon, but in like 10-15 minutes, just because I found some things I want to fix in this game. So in the first couple levels we played, I found some little like nitpick things I wanted to fix. So I'm gonna go fix that and update this game. So for people who own Madman's Dice, you'll get an update today, probably tonight, later tonight actually. But I want to sit and do a Q&A actually, if there's anyone has any questions. And just to sit and talk, but yeah, it's like when it comes to the games I make, like with this game, I really want it to be as much as I can get it to. I made the game, it works, everything works as intended. and there's no game-breaking bugs, glitches, or issues, and it just is done. You know, I like that. That's my philosophy when it comes to games. I think it's because I come from a world of both academia, where you turn in your assignments and those are done, and also I think with books, because you don't, with the exception of I think Bram Stoker's Dracula, I don't often feel like, I mean, there's probably a lot of books that have been reprinted with new endings and, they change the text and whatever. But to me, it's like when you print a book, that book is printed. You don't go back and suddenly say, well, I'm going to patch update and change, the ending. The ending sucked and this chapter sucked. Whatever, change everything. Like, I don't like that. That idea feels silly, So by extension, I would actually prefer that my games feel like, especially because they're single player, I think they kind of necessitate being mostly finished, after a certain point. So, yeah. I do think this Monday slot feels very interesting. I think when I get more used to it, I'll do a few more weeks of this Monday slot. I'm only cutting it short today because, one, I want to fix the stuff I found with this game, with Madman's Dice, and get that right. But more importantly to me, I also feel like I don't want to overdo it. Adding another 4-hour block to the week, I am recognizing that it might overdo it in terms of my energy levels if I'm not careful. So it might be something where I'm like, I should probably, be careful this first one. And then with all the other ones, I'll just run it as normal, as my normal stream times. But in all honesty, I did enjoy doing this. I think this was good for me because a lot of my anxiety about this went way down. And part of that's because I think this game, as I said earlier, I think I was going through a lot of stuff when I made this. And I think playing it again reminded me of the things I love about it. I really like what I did with the writing. I like the characters I made. I do really like the scares I put together. I think some of them are really fun. Some of them are silly. I like some of the scares being silly. I think that's fun. And I appreciate that this game is the way it is, I don't think there are any major story or mechanic changes that I would want to put on this game that would make... I don't think there's anything I would change in that fundamental sort of way. So, yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Game design, life, about food, anything. I guess I'm just curious now. It's like, if anyone has anything we want to talk about, we can talk. We can sit and talk for a little bit. So I'm just like, I think I also have been stressed about the newest book because it's been a lot of hard work. This dialogue is a lot harder for me to write. It's very fulfilling, but it's very hard for me to do personally. So, fingers crossed I can get it past the finish line, but we'll see, Also, I think musically, this game had probably one of the most diverse soundtracks in terms of getting it to, of the process of getting from concept to finished song. A lot of it was harder to do this time with Madman's Dice. It was pretty odd. It was a very different process than my usual fare musically. This motif in particular, I used it a whole bunch throughout the game, and I really like it. It's very comforting. I know that this one was for me. Would a Doom clone be your next game? I don't know if it'll be a Doom clone per se, but I think that's the next one I want to do. I've had an idea kicking around for a very werewolf heavy game. And what I wanted to do was have it's not really a spoiler to describe it this way, because it's going to be the main selling point is that you're going to have two stories you can play. I want to make a game where you have, like traditional shooter type stuff with some stealth stuff thrown in where you have to dodge and evade a werewolf. The game's working title right now is Lycanthrope, and I really like it. It's been in the back of my head for a long time. I've had it for a while, but I haven't had the expertise and the time and the resources to figure out how I'm going to do it. And I think part of the problem was that I was trying to think of what you would do in between run-ins with the werewolf. Because the problem was that it's like, yeah, if you're just solving crime scenes, that seems kind of like a hard thing to constantly do. So I had the thought of like, well, if you include, you know, first-person shooter sections that are like more action heavy, you know, make it more bombastic, and then you switch into, oh, now you're in the section where your guns aren't doing much. It's a bit like Fear 1. We played Fear on stream. I liked those sections where it's like, oh, spooky section, combat section, spooky section, combat section. I like that. That flow feels nice. And I think also if I can do it better than Thief did when it did its whole supernatural crap, I think that'll make me happy. But the whole thing I wanted to do was you play through the game with this detective guy first, and you do the shooter stuff first, and then you unlock the second story where you get to play as the werewolf. Sort of like Sonic Adventure 2, where, you know, the stories run parallel to each other. So you get to see the story from the perspective of the guy you're chasing in the original one, in the first story. I like that idea a lot, you know? Like, that concept feels so fun to me. And I like that. That's what I want to do. And it's like, I think also it gives me something to do in Godot, because I've been practicing in Godot a lot. Not in 3D, but Godot in general I've been learning. And I'd like to put those skills to the test making a game with Godot, because that would be a lot of fun for me. So I think that would be very fun. I would have a great time with it. Is there anything else with that? I think with that stuff, it also would give me time to gestate on what I want to do next with RPG Maker. You know, because I don't think I'm gonna stay 100% on RPG Maker going forward, but I don't think I want to stop making games using it, you know? I think it's something that I personally love the engine. I think RPG Maker is still one of my favorite things to work in. And I think what I'd like to do is, I left Red Genie on not a cliffhanger, but if you do the endings, you know that there's the one ending has a game lined up. I think I'd like to do that one after Lycanthrope, and then from there, I think I would like to do. There's a particular. It's kind of crazy. I want to talk about this. I want to do a fighting game at some point. It's been in the back of my head to do a clone of Naruto Clash of Ninja 2, but I wanted to do something where I take two of the worlds I've written and put them together into a game. And I wanted to do something similar to Naruto Clash of Ninja 2 because I love that game. But that one feels like it would be, once I have more notoriety to get more people to help me and I can have more help, more resources, more knowledge, more skill, I think I could do that game. But that one's going to take some time for me to master. But yeah, that's a tough one. The transition from 2D to 3D is going to be hard, but I think it would be fun for me to work on, to branch out genre-wise. I want to do more role-playing games, more turn-based RPGs, but I also want to do other genres and mess with, I want to try out all sorts, you know? I know at some point I actually want to make a board game. I kind of want to design, not a Mario Party type, but I want to design something like a board game. It'll probably come out and be like $2, but I'm like, I want to do that because that'd be fun. I don't know what or a collection of games, you know, do like kind of like the Jackbox arrangement where you have 5 games, like each one's $1, so it's a $5 game executable. I like the idea of it being something like Disney Scene It, you know, where it's like, oh, the video game is on the screen and then it tells you to do something in person in real life. At least one of them has to be like a Disney Scene It thing, because that'd be hilarious. I don't know how many people have played Disney Scene It. It's an old board game where you press something on the DVD and then it would say, oh, here's the question for this category. And it's like, you have to answer the question and then you get to move. I think you get to move again, or it's like you get to stay in the space you move to if you get it right. I forget the exact rulings, but basically you have to answer quiz questions about Disney while going around the board. I think they made versions of it for like all sorts of stuff. I forget how much they did, but it's a very prolific board game that combined the DVD stuff with that. It was very silly. But it's a fun game design. I thought it was very cool. I like the hybrid media type games. I think they're fun. I know one thing I also wanted to do, because I found out a lot of people have a weird physical sensation when they're watching roller coaster POV videos. I actually was reminded of this recently by watching, of all people, Kinkymation. She's an artist who does like character design reviews, and she draws a lot of art. But I was watching her do a video of her reacting to roller coasters, because she's really bad at roller coasters. But it reminded me that people have weird reactions to POV roller coasters. And it reminded me of, I know this is going to sound weird, Lion King 1.5 had a special feature in the DVD menu where you could go through a Disney ride, and it had the cast of the movie doing like voice reacting to stuff, and it was very weird. I don't know why, but I really want to make a game like that where it's like you choose to go through these places, and then it's like, it's kind of like Dragon's Quest where you're like, you have to do quick time events for certain secrets and stuff. I liked the idea of something weird like that because it just feels so weird. Like, it's bizarre. It's like, what the heck are we doing here? But I kind of liked the idea of doing something like Madman's Dice, where you're jumping through different areas and you're warped through magic and doing all this weird stuff, but just doing it as a theme park ride inside of virtual space. Maybe I could get it working with VR support. That'd be cool. But I like that idea because it's so weird. I have a lot of weird ideas sitting around for games. I can only do one project at a time. And that's my only weakness, is that I can only do one thing at a time. Because if I try to do more than one game or project at a time, I write everything down. But if I try to do more than one project at a time, I basically lose them. I cannot do more than one at a time because it ends up inadvertently ruins the work for all of them, you know? So it's very hard for me to do multiple projects at the same time. And I don't have the money or the people to be able to say like, hey, I'm going to hire a bunch of people to do all these games for me. Like, I can't do that. Alrighty. Does anyone else, before I close out, I think I'm going to raid out today just because I kind of feel like I want to. I would raid out today. Mainly because I think I need to go update this stuff. I need to go update Madman's Dice. I'm going to go work on it. And I think to a lesser extent, I think I need to make sure I don't, like I said, I don't want to overdo myself. So if we have any other questions, I will gladly answer them as I go find someone to raid out to. So while I do that, covering chat, put this over here. Wrong. Oh, Cree is streaming. I could go raid to Cree. I don't get to raid to Cree very often. And he's always done when I pop over. Been thinking about what games to redeem for next. I did double check. I don't own Octopath Traveler, but I do have access to Banjo-Tooie. Let me look at the games list. What do I have that I'm like... Hang on. I'm going to look at the games list really quick. I do want to see if there's any games that I would prefer to play sooner rather than later, personally. Let me take a gander. Any games that I really want to play, I want to play sooner rather than later. I just want to see. I know in terms of one-shot games, one-shots. Are there any games I'm like really excited about playing one-shot wise? Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, that one's listed as a series, but it's like the games are only 4 hours long. I don't know. I'm gonna put that as an O. I'm gonna put that as an O. The game I'm referencing is what would Donkey Kong 64 and Jet Force Gemini be as? Let me look up something really quick. Okay, first off, is Donkey Kong 64 on the online library for Nintendo Switch? I actually have no idea if it is or not. I have no idea if it's on there. I could probably I could grab my Switch really quick and check. But I think both of them are. I don't know. How long is Donkey Kong 64? I have no idea. How long is Donkey Kong 64? 25 to 26 hours. Wait, really? What the heck is this game that it... Actually, wait, I just realized whenever I played Donkey Kong 64, I straight up never played the single player mode. I would only play multiplayer with my brother. So I genuinely have no idea what the story mode looks like. That one kind of classifies as a series because it goes into the 20. Once it goes past 20 hours, I can't justify it being a Sunday thing because then it's like, well, that's like 6 streams if I'm doing 4-hour streams. So that's like 6 streams in total. That's a series. Small one, but it would be a series. How long is Jet Force Gemini? How long is Jet? 15 and a half. 100% by saving every single tribal. What the heck is that? Down to 30. Say if that's gonna take 20 hours, that one would be like very short. The problem is they feel like short series, but I feel like it would be one of those things where it would be one of those things we could talk about. I feel like it would be one of those ones we could talk about. I'm not sure. Kind of tough, yeah. Just looking. I'm looking through really quick through the game list because I'm curious what else I've missed. Anything I really want to get to at some point? Curious if there's anything I'm like, is there anything on here that I would want to play sooner rather than later? I'm sorry, I'm just reading really. I do know that, okay, there is one. Man, I need to play that game again. I need to play this game just so I can figure out where the door is on the helicarrier. Yeah, I just realized that. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1, I remember I need to double check that I still have access to it on Xbox. I know I would also, let's see. I feel like I could do, I know at some point I want to do the BioShock games. Brother said he wants to sit in on those streams, but I don't know how I'd make that work, so. But either way, I might do something like that. I might do something. Why'd I put Donkey Kong Country in this section if it's an M game? Oh, might need to move that, but For Ash's story. Oh, for Fuga. I forgot about that. I'm trying to think, because I know that the Switch has some stuff that I need to get to. There's a lot of games we need to get to. We have a lot. There's so many things I need to get. For Nintendo. Oh, that's right, the Nintendo. I need to reorganize some of the list, because some of this is, like, a little bit janky. I need to fix some of the list, because some of these I have written down later. I need to do that later. Oh, that's right. I never finished Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom. I did the Yugi story. I didn't do the Joey and Kaiba story yet. I need to get around to that sometime. I forgot. Let's see. Okay, you know what? Fear 2 I do want to get to at some point. I did just realize, how would I play the God of War collection if I have to censor a bunch of stuff? I'd have to... God, I would not be able to play those unless I censored stuff. Tough call. I do know both of those games would be interesting series games. Right now, what's the queue on the series right now? Let me make sure. We still have to get to... Final Fantasy Tactics and Morrowind are still on the queue. Crap, I still have to get to those. I think Sundays are going to be what we focus on for now. I think one-shot games would be preferred if you're going to pull anything. I think that would be best at this point. I think if it's going to be a Sunday game and you want to... Like, I would say this is a thing I would say is debatable. If a game is within 12 to 16 hours on an average playthrough, I think that is fine for Sundays. Because I can make that work. Like Banjo-Kazooie, I think we did that on Sundays, so that worked out pretty well. But I think if it's within that time frame and it's available to me, I think that's a fair one that we can use. But if it's anything past, I think once it gets to 20 hours or more and it's like 4 or more streams, I think that's when I'm kind of like, oh yeah, that's a little bit much. I think that's a tough call for me. So yeah, we'll see. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start post-stream stuff. So thank you all for coming by. Thank you to everyone who came by. Couldn't stay to the end. So would Tui be a Sunday stream then, or series? Banjo-Tooie would be a Sunday stream. That one would be a Sunday redeem, and I'm pretty sure. I'll write down the new queue days. It's cool. Yeah, I will say that I think with with streams going forward, I've been kind of going back and forth on how I want to do things. With Monday opening up, I can also double up on Sundays if I want to. If I want to play a game on Sundays, so maybe that's, you know what, that does kind of open up something, huh? Because do I do 4 different games in a week, or if a game is longer, can I double up on it with Monday? But nope, I can't do that, because I've talked about this before, why I don't do that. Because some people can only make Wednesday or Thursday night, so when they show up for a game they want to see, they can't miss it because they know it's on Thursdays. Cloudy said that about The World Ends With You. I can't do that. So it is going to be that I play 4 different things every week, so... Yeah, with Sunday streams, I guess it is still like... It just means that we have another slot for another game, so... We'll see. Alright. Okay, let's end stream. I'm going to call it a little early. Thank you all for coming by. Thank you to everyone who came by. I couldn't stay to the end. General stuff. We're going to try this Monday block for a few weeks. We're going to see how... Well, basically the end of this month into the first 2 weeks of September, I'll try it out. If it works nicely and I don't feel too overtired by it, it might become a permanent fixture. We'll start doing it more. And it could also pivot. If it might become a Tuesday night thing, or it might drop for... Depending on if I need to move things around in the schedule for like holidays or... you know, just in general stuff. Just one of those things where it's like I could very easily see it being a pivot day as well, so we can see how it works. Overall though, thank you all for coming by. I do hope you'll check out Madman's Dice, especially those who are watching the VOD. I do hope that, you know, if you saw this whole thing, you might buy the game, or at least go look at its Steam page. It's the Steam page for this and Red Genie are always in the description of every VOD I put out. At some point, I will need to start doing a rotation of when I have too many games, I might start, maybe I'll start consolidating. I might start doing like, because I usually do one book, because I have enough books now. I can't put all 7 of them into the description of each VOD, but I put 1 per stream, and it's my recommended book for that VOD. So it's each VOD has a different one at the in the description. So yeah. All right. So Wednesday we are for sure finishing Golden Sun. I did only a little bit of leveling so that we have the ability to go do all the super bosses. The only thing I'm looking up is where to find the bosses. Strategies are mine to figure out when we get to the bosses. So we'll do that. And Thursday is The World Ends With You, Neo. That one, I know Null said they weren't going to show up because they were playing that one, so I'm not going to... Hopefully they don't come in and get spoiled, so that would suck. Well, that game is going to... I think that one I might be able to finish either this week or next week. Probably next week. Is there anything else? Sunday, we're playing Big Walk with Pending Fate. I'm very excited about that. It's the first collab we've done in a while. And Fate's a great friend, so I appreciate the chance that we get to game again for the first time in a while. All right, so we're going to raid out. I'm going to go raid over to Kree because I want to go say hi. I don't get to raid over to him very often. I want to raid over. You're like a teenager just be like, yeah, I want to do the thing. It's like, yeah, yes, of course. If he's still on, I pray he didn't just... If he went offline right when I say I want to go raid over to him, that'd be hilarious. Nope, he's here. God. God, that'd been so funny. Alrighty, well, now and whenever I see you guys next, goodbye for now and thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Let's raid out, lads. Peace. And everyone else in between. I don't know why I said that. Eh.